Here we go. We are live once again. Let's jump right into it. We're in trial day 1, April 18th, 9:15 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. You okay, Athena? You've been really antsy ever since we got here. I'm just excited. This is my first real court case, after all. Yeah, a real ball of excitement she is. I know just what she needs. Athena! Ah! Didn't you ever learn about indoor and outdoor voices? I'm just trying to show you the best way to relieve your pre-trial jitters. Am I scaring the daylights out of me? No, I find that shouting, "I'm fine!" in a loud voice really relieves stress. It's part of my Cords of Steel voice workout, and a must before every trial. You want me to shout? Here? That's right, here. I'll go first, then you try. I'm Apollo Justice, and I'm fine! Alright. I'm Athena Sykes, and I'm fine! I think that actually worked. I thought it might help. Always works for me. An old friend of mine from junior high and I say it all the time. I see. A proven remedy to calm the soul. I like it. Hello to those viewing. Let's see, we have some in the chat here. Hey, how about we finish off with a race around the courthouse? The point is to relieve stress, not get totally exhausted. What's with all the racket, you two? Ah, Mr. Wright. Just a little voice workout. Hey, what's with the suit? Oh, this? I was thinking about getting my attorney's badge back, that's all. That's right, because at this point in time, he's not gotten it back, because we've gone back in time from the first case. That's all? That's huge news, but why now? I have a feeling I'll be needed in the courtroom again sometime soon. But we can talk about that another time. No fair. Inquiring minds want to know. Wow. I'm so used to him in his usual laid-back clothes. Nice. Nice little flashback to Naruhobo there. That suit makes him look like $1 million. By the way, have you heard about the prosecutor assigned to this case? Yeah. Hobo Phoenix is Best Phoenix, yes. He's serving time, but before that, he was a prosecutor. He also uses psychology? That's right. I've heard the rumors about how he was back before his conviction. Using the power of suggestion, he could make even those stalwart defendants confess. Psychology in the courtroom. Been hearing a lot about that lately. So he must be a pretty scary guy. Well, considering he's a prison inmate and all. So they say. They also say he'll cut you down if you talk too much. Ah! I knew he was going to be bad news. It's probably just hyperbole. At least I hope, for your sake. Wait, so is it true or not? Let's just say you should be concise and choose your words carefully. If you'd like to keep that head of yours attached to the rest of your body, that is. Yikes! I better tone down my cords of steel, too. So, are you all ready? Might be a good idea to check the court record again before stepping into the ring. Right, Mr. Wright, but I'm fine. I'll be watching from the gallery. Good luck. Thanks! Okay, let's do this! The odds of pulling this off are ridiculously low, but that's nothing new. Believe in our client. Seek the truth. That's all we can do. Hang in there, Mayor Tenma. Here comes justice! April 18th, 9:30 a.m., District Court, Courtroom number 4. All rise. The court is now in session for the trial of Damien Tenma. Apollo Justice, defense team leader, is ready, Your Honor. I'd know that big, booming voice anywhere. As chipper as ever, eh, Mr. Justice? But who is the young lady next to you? I'm Athena Sykes, Mr. Justice's junior partner, and fresh out of law school. Well now, full of beans too, eh? Excellent. Makes an old man feel young again. Now for the prosecution. It appears the prosecution is not ready yet. Never fear, for I shall explain. It's just a minor procedural complication, Your Honor. The prosecution for this case is being escorted from prison as we speak. Prison? Oh, yes, of course. I almost forgot that he's currently serving time. Oh, I think we're getting ourselves a cutscene.
Yup, Prosecutor Blackwill's an inmate.
This reminds me of Xenogears. Anybody else remember that?
But even a convicted murderer still got a job to do and duties to perform.
And here we are, our prosecutor for the game. Who's that with his back to us over there? That's him, I'm sure of it. Prosecutor Blackquill. Is the prosecution ready? Huh. Enough jabbering. Get on with it already. Of course! Forgive me! Why are all the people related to this case so scary? Very well, Prosecutor Blackquill. Your opening statement, if you please. What's the matter? Must we continue to fritter away time like this? It is all right there in the indictment. An opening statement would be pointless. Pointless? Oh, well? Looks like the cat, or in this case, the prosecutor, has the judge's tongue. But we need an opening statement as an overview of the case at hand. Well then, your baldness. If it's so important, why don't you do the honors? Who, me? There's a term for people who whine and fuss about how they need silly, useless things, and then decide they no longer want them once it's theirs. A selfish old fool. Huh? Wait, was that the prosecution's opening statement? Old daughters such as you are a plague upon the young. I pity your poor grandchildren. Or is it great-grandchildren? Oh! All these years, I thought the opening statement was the prosecutor's job. But I suppose I could give it a try. It might be a nice change of pace. What? You actually fell for that? That must have been the power of suggestion Mr. Wright was talking about. The opening statement, huh? Let's see here. The victim was one Rex Cuby, alderman of Ninetails Vale. And the defendant, Davian Tenma, mayor of Tenma Town, is accused of his murder. And why, pray tell, was the mayor arrested? His prints were on the murder weapon. Plus, he had a motive, the elimination of the biggest roadblock to the municipal merger. The caretaker and the secretary, other potential suspects, both have alibis. And his daughter, who was also in the vicinity at the time of the incident, has no motive. So, in a nutshell, I'd have to say the charges against the defendant are incontrovertible. Bravo, your baldness. Your years of experience shine bright like your head. Oh, flattery will get you everywhere. He's playing Simon Says with the judge. Moving right along now, let's hear from our first witness for today, Detective Fulbright. Witness, please state your name and occupation. I am the detective assigned to this case, Bobby Fulbright. Oh, and I'll also be keeping tabs on old Blackquill here. I also heard you'd provide protection if it ever came to that. It would seem that I have been sorely underestimated. Wait, who's protecting who from what? Still, I truly believe anyone can turn their life around, even old Blackquill here. Oh! Fulbright. Save your platitudes for funerals. Get on with your statement. That's the spirit. Justice must be swift and true. I see it in your eyes. There is hope for your rehabilitation and return to society. I will never give up on you. Prosecutor Blackquill doesn't seem to intimidate Detective Fulbright. Well, you know what they say. Ignorance is bliss. Oh, so that's why Detective Fulbright was assigned to Blackquill? He's so oblivious. Now, let's have your first statement, Detective Fulbright. You got it. But first, I'd like to say to the defense that justice will ultimately prevail. All right, witness testimony. Here we go. About the murder. Alderman Kyubi was murdered with a spear that had been on the wall. The fingerprints of the defendant, Damien Tenma, were found on the murder weapon. At the time, Alderman Kyubi was asleep from a drug he unwittingly ingested. Mayor Tenma attacked his helpless victim, impaling him like a human shish kebab. But the sudden pain jolted the victim awake, and he grabbed a statue and struck back. Alderman Kyubi had been slipped some kind of sleep-inducing drug? That's right. The accused was scared because the alderman was a former pro wrestler. So he slipped him a drug to make sure he'd be out cold and defenseless. Here's the autopsy report to prove it. Kyubi's autopsy report. Okay, cause of death, stabbed with a spear. Estimated time of death around 3:20 p.m. The victim had been in a drug-induced slumber. And the victim managed to attack his attacker despite being impaled by a spear? That sounds almost superhuman. Is it even possible? Well, he was a former pro wrestler after all. That spear was probably nothing more than a mosquito bite to him. Objection! Not so fast. Don't try to brush it all off by saying the alderman had been a pro wrestler. You really expect us to believe he could fight back after being skewered by a spear? Never heard of the incredible feats of which man is capable of in a pinch, have you? Like the samurai of yore, wrestlers can battle through intense pain. It sharpens their senses. I used to talk about it with a former wrestler I met in the clink. I don't know. It still sounds a little far-fetched. Does it now? Then perhaps we should test the theory on you with the edge of my blade. I didn't sign up for this! And so your life is spared. For now. Please let those shackles be made of titanium. I don't want to die. My investigations are as thorough as they are foolproof, or my name isn't Fulbright. I vow to resign immediately if I ever make a false arrest. The accused prints are on the weapon, and he's the only one person without an alibi. Quite decisive evidence, wouldn't you agree, your baldness? The defendant is sounding guiltier by the minute. He has the judge leaning toward a guilty verdict? The trial's just barely begun. What's more, a curious rumor about the accused is making the rounds. They say he seeks the merger for the purpose of freeing Tenma Taro from his imprisonment. Truth be told, I can think of no real reason to show interest in that backwoods burg. Perhaps he's a complete nutter and really does seek to release an imaginary demon. Either way... He is raving mad and more than capable of murdering the alderman. That mayor is a strange one, all right. I heard he went to a blood drive, but instead of donating, he tried to make a withdrawal. Order! There will be no gossiping in my court! Your boldness? Please take a gander at those charms plastered across his cranium. I hear they're meant to keep him safe from possession by the demon Tenmataro. Then again... perhaps he's already under the demon's spell. Behold! The lunatic appears poised to lunge at you at any moment. The rumors and quirks of Mayor Tenma have no relevance to this case. Besides, those charms on his head, they're just a fashion statement. I think. Well, come to think of it, such things don't seem relevant to the case, do they? The prosecution will refrain from dragging our client's reputation through the mud. Oh, what a dreadfully fearsome lass we have here. Wow, thanks for that lifeline, Athena. Careful, Apollo. He has the judge dancing in the palm of his hand. The power of suggestion is one of the more powerful tools in Simon Blackwell's arsenal. He's trying to manipulate everyone's impressions to suit his objectives. This guy really is bad news. In any case, it seems the victim did manage to defend himself despite being impaled. What sort of weapon did he use against his attacker? None other than this statue right here. It appears to be a statue of two strange creatures locked in battle. Two yokai, to be exact. On one side is the nine-tailed fox, and the other Tenmataro. Quite interesting if you think about it. It's as though this very case were rendered in art. Fox and demon statue. The weapon used to bludgeon the mayor. The mayor's blood was found on it, but no prints could be lifted. Mr. Justice, you may proceed with your cross-examination. All right. Cross-examination time. Alderman QB was murdered with a spear. All right. Let's see. So those weapons on the wall of the Fox chamber, I presume those are real? Don't you think keeping real weapons around like that is rather dangerous? No matter what he collected, the alderman insisted it be the real deal. For instance, he had a real demon's club in his possession. Apparently, one of his ancestors claimed it after defeating a demon in battle. What? That's gotta be an old wives' tale. One of those California demons. The alderman had pure, unadulterated justice flowing in his veins. Whatever he did it right. We've lost a real champion of justice at his death. Nothing but claptrap and balderdash if you ask me. Now stop your bleating and tell us about the weapon. Your wish is my command. And the next is the fingerprints. Right, were found on the murder weapon. It doesn't make sense if you think about it. Prints could be easily wiped off. You do have a point there. I'd venture to say he did not wipe off the prints because he could not. What do you mean? Looks like he wants you to figure it out. Well, don't just stand there. Show him who's boss. I'm totally lost. So why don't you just tell me the answer already? I don't think he saw that plea for help. You feeling alright, kid? You running a fever, perhaps? I wish trials came with a reset button. Well, the specifics may yet come to light. Please proceed, Detective Fulbright. Oh no, poor Apollo's going to deal with a prosecutor who's not as friendly as Clavier was. Come to think of it, a coffee cup was found on the floor. Was the sedative in his coffee? Bingo! We found traces of a sleeping agent all over the inside of the cup. And that is why he was out cold. That is until he leapt to his feet upon being impaled by the mayor. What an awful way to wake up. A rather stimulating eye-opener, if you ask me. I, too, would have risen to the attack, for to die in battle is the samurai way. Paradise awaits fallen heroes, but that hole in his stomach would make eating a challenge. Prosecutor Blackquill, please! Those morbid jokes of yours have no place in court! Says the Just Detective's guys. Moving right along. Alright, so we got... Mayor Tenma attacked his helpless victim, impaling him like a human shish kebab, okay? So the alderman was drugged because he was really strong? Did you see those rock-hard muscles of his? I'm surprised the spear even managed to pierce that armor-like musculature. I admit, I'm completely jealous of that righteous body of his, ha ha ha! Well, he did look pretty buff, even in that suit he had on. Quite a difference when compared with a yellow belly like you. Yellow belly? Who even says that anymore? Yeah, and the color's all wrong, too. Oh, I know. How about a squishy red tomato? I have to strike both of your comments from the record. Mr. Justice's character is not the issue here. Now let's get back to what happened after the far more muscular alderman was impaled. Yes, well, your average person would likely have died on the spot. Let's see, but the sudden pain jolted the victim awake. Alright. Could he really have attacked his attacker after being impaled with that huge spear? Absolutely. After all, he was once a pro wrestler. The injustice of being drugged and then speared was answered with a righteous counterattack. But does being a former pro wrestler make him superhuman? Absolutely. After all, he was one of the good guys. Like a superhero on the side of justice. Even though he was retired, he could still don his superhero guise in times of need. You need to lay off the comic books, detective. We're talking about real life here. Setting aside the half-wit's flights of fancy, the fact is this. The court-ordered post-mortem concluded the victim moved after his skewering. So he found the strength somehow to attack his attacker, huh? Detective Fulbright's testimony sounds alright. Airtight. No wonder he's so confident. No. He only thinks it's airtight. It's up to us to poke some holes in it. That part about the alderman fighting back sounds like a big hole waiting to be poked. Alright, well let's go see what we got here. So, fingerprints at the time attacked his helpless victim, jolted him awake, and he grabbed a statue and struck back. Okay. What do we got in the court record that could contradict that? Stabbed with a spear, estimated time of death around 32. The victim had been in a drug-induced slumber. We don't need... Yeah. Okay. The weapon used to bludgeon the mayor. The mayor's blood was found on it, but no prints could be lifted. Now there's a problem with that. Because he wasn't wearing gloves. That to me seems like a contradiction. Let's present and see what happens. Objection! Did the alderman really strike the mayor? What? Are you questioning my sense of justice? Your so-called justice needs to find itself a pair of legs to stand on. You claim the alderman struck back after the mayor put a spear through him. But the statue he supposedly used to defend himself creates a major hole in your theory. It would appear that the defense has a counter-argument. Very well, let's hear what the defense thinks is odd about the detective's statue theory. There's no fingerprints. There are no fingerprints on this supposedly crucial piece of evidence. And if you look at the crime scene photo, you'll notice that the alderman isn't wearing gloves. Yes, I believe he is quite gloveless indeed. If he touched the statue with his bare hands, he should have left some fingerprints. Detective Fulbright, you did take that into account during your investigation, didn't you? Oh, this can't be happening. Did I arrest the wrong man? You did it, Apollo. You knocked Detective Fulbright off his high horse. Well, it's just one point in our favor. Who do you suppose clubbed the mayor if it wasn't the alderman? Well, if it wasn't the alderman, that means someone else must have clubbed the mayor. You mean there was a third party there in the Fox chamber? Yeah, it was the demon. Exactly. And this could be the big break we've been looking for. There does seem to be a hole in the prosecution's argument. Prosecutor Blackquill, would you care to respond to the defense's assertion? The least you could do is look at me while being dismissive. Your mind is as dull as an unhoned blade, Justice Dono. Justice Dono? You've been watching too many samurai flicks. For those who don't know, Dono is a very antiquated honorific in Japanese. So, I don't know why this Californian is doing this, but hey, it's a holdover from the original translation. It will take far more than that to cut down Simon Blackquill. A whelp such as you has no hope against my superior swordsmanship. This is a trial, not a sword fight, Prosecutor Blackquill. There is a perfectly good explanation for the lack of prints on the statue. You might recall the blood-stained cloth found at the scene of the crime. Well, it just so happens that the blood was the mayor's. So, what are you getting at? On your mind, boy. Why was there blood on that cloth? Solve that riddle, and you shall see that the hole you thought you found was but an illusion. Now, let's see. How was that cloth used? Was it used to wrap the statue? Maybe the alderman wrapped the statue in the cloth. In short, he wasn't touching the statue directly when he used it to strike back at the mayor. Ah! Precisely. Bully for you, boy. Oh, it was nothing. Apollo, don't let him start manipulating you too. You just closed the hole for the prosecution. Yeah, I noticed that too. I did? Oh, I did. Right. That a statue wrapped in cloth would leave no fingerprints is as plain as day. But this also proves there are no holes in our theory of the alderman striking back. Oops. Oh! The fox and demon statue was wrapped in a large cloth. Now, do you see how dull your mind is? I'll make sure to sharpen it next time. A particularly frightening inmate once told me that he always tentatively honed his blades before he went to work, like the samurai of yore. Samurai? Sounds more like a homicidal maniac to me. Actually, he was working in the prison kitchen at the time. Wait, so the inmate was a murdering samurai prison chef? It would seem that the victim and his killer were the only ones there after all. I was kind of attached to that hole. Now what? Apollo, I just thought of something. If they didn't find anyone's fingerprints on the statue, who's to say someone other than the alderman didn't hit the mayor with it? Why didn't I think of that? Anybody could have not left any prints on it. Then who, pray tell, struck the mayor with the statue? Please, illuminate us with your wisdom, young lady. There's only one answer. The real killer. Prove the existence of this real killer, then. What evidence have you? Oh, I'll give you evidence, all right. Athena, are you sure about this? To borrow your words, Apollo, I'm fine. Take a look at this. Black feathers and tracks, allegedly from a yokai, were found at the scene. I believe they're from the third party who struck the mayor with that statue. Is the defense actually suggesting some sort of monster killed that alderman? That's exactly what I'm suggesting. No, Athena, we just lost what little credibility we had left. The defense is objecting to themselves. Oh! Sorry. I guess I got carried away. Mr. Justice, we've no time to deal with objections between members of the defense. Sorry, Your Honor. It's just this kid's still, well, the kid. Ouch. You meanie. I'm reporting this to Mr. Wright. So, is this court to believe the feathers and tracks are from a yokai, as you put it? No, Your Honor. I believe they're a fabrication. The real killer wants us to believe some sort of monster murdered the alderman. Interesting. And why do you suppose the killer would do that? Why indeed? Mr. Justice, you seem as new to this as your partner is. Ouch! This I'm not reporting to Mr. Wright. Boy, Fulbright. Explain to his baldness what these brats are missing. You know, the who and why behind those feathers and tracks. What? You mean you could explain all that? Our investigative prowess is without equal. I'm starting to think I chose the wrong profession. Very well, let's hear about these so-called yokai feathers and tracks. Alright, witness testimony, feathers and tracks. This entire case centers on one man's attempt to crush opposition to the municipal merger. Mayor Tenma panicked when the amazing Ninetales helped embolden the protesters, so he stoked the villagers' fears by fabricating a monster. The strange feathers and tracks he planted made it look like a yokai was the killer. These feathers and tracks stoked the villagers' fears? Absolutely. He knew exactly how to prey on their superstitious minds. Those feathers only gave weight to the idea that the alderman was slain by a demon. The accused demon Tenma Taro, that is. Tenma who? Tenma Taro, the legendary demon locked away in the village's forbidden chamber. From a young age, the villagers are taught to fear the great black-feathered demon. And thus were they blinded to other, more plausible explanations. Hold on for a second. Before we start letting our imaginations run wild, isn't there someone else that could be considered a suspect? Mr. Justice, please explain yourself. On the day of the incident, there was a special event held at Kibi Manor. And as part of this event, there was someone dressed in the likeness of Tenma Taro. Obviously, this person is a much more likely suspect than any legendary demon. Dullard, you're playing right into the killer's mind games. What? Listen here. The feathers and tracks were merely red herrings. The villagers believed the murder to be the work of the real Tenma Taro. However, the police believe that the person in the Tenma Taro suit is the killer. Ah! The defendant sought to sow this confusion in order to deflect blame away from himself. However, he was knocked unconscious by the alderman. And thus, our mentally deficient mayor was caught red-handed at the scene of the crime. Do you honestly believe Mayor Tenma would do something so stupid? The evidence speaks for itself. Fulbright. Right. It was the mayor's last-ditch effort to stop the opposition before things got crazy. The amazing Ninetales was fueling both the yokai craze and the anti-merger movement. Plus, he's one of the better-known masked wrestlers, and the hometown favorite. That's why the mayor panicked and set out on the path of injustice. But do the people of Ninetales Vale really believe a yokai is behind the crime? Yokai sightings are an everyday event there, so I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I must say, a crime that preys upon innocent, impressionable minds. Just so, a particularly silver-tongued inmate once had the following words for me. The innocent of heart are the easiest prey. You don't say! Was this inmate a con artist? No. He was framed for the murder of his beloved. I actually felt sorry for the poor chap. Wait, so he wasn't the predator, but rather the prey? Yes, well, now then, the defense may proceed with their cross-examination. Alright. Feathers and tracks. Here we go. So, one man's attempt to crush opposition to the municipal merger. Detective Fulbright, is the anti-merger movement really that strong? Oh, absolutely. They parade around in yokai costumes shouting down with Mayor Tenma. And just the other day, they stormed Tenma City Hall, claiming it was a den of vipers. But when the accused showed his face, the angry mob scattered like leaves upon an autumn wind. For you see, lowly yokai are no match for Tenma Taro, the dark lord of their kind. Wait, are the villagers scared of Mayor Tenma or Tenma Taro? I'm confused. I think he means Mayor Tenma. It's easy to get the wrong impression about the guy. Detective Fulbright, why do you suppose the defendant would commit such an act? We got Mayor Tenma panicked when the amazing Ninetales helped embolden the protest. The amazing Ninetales? No one knows his true identity, right? That's right. And he was a lone wolf. Or in other words, he didn't belong to a wrestling federation. He appeared like a shooting star, defeating one Tenma Town wrestler after another. And before anyone knew it, he was champion. Like the samurai of yore, surrounded thick with enemies, he cut them down one by one. It was a complete and utter loss of face for Tenma Town Pro Wrestling. He was amazing! If ever there was a real superhero, it'd be him. I dream of becoming a true champion of justice, like him, someday. I bet Detective Fulbright would be a great pro wrestler. He could even team up with Prosecutor Blackwell. A police detective and a prisoner in chains? You know, I think people would actually pay to see that. I know I would. Heck yeah. That's some 90s WWF stuff there. So you do understand the greatness that is the amazing Ninetales. Alright, so he stoked the villagers' fears by fabricating a monster. Did the murder and yokai evidence really stoke the villagers' fears? Absolutely! It had an immediate effect. The presumed return of the dreaded Tenma Taro has them shaking in their boots. Oh my! Is it really that bad? That superstitious lot. It's as if Jack the Ripper had been set loose in their village. The mere thought of that demon lurking about is enough to spark a mass exodus. I see. That's a very persuasive argument. The mere thought of His Honor buying into Simon the Psycho Slasher's words makes me want to spark my own exodus out of the courtroom right about now. So you see, there can be only one reason why anyone would plant those feathers and tracks. The strange feathers and tracks he planted made it look like a yokai was the killer. But it doesn't add up. If what you say is true, why top it off with murder? Huh? What do you mean? You claim that our client planted the yokai evidence to stoke the villagers' fears. If so, then why not stop there? Why murder Alderman Cuby? Excellent point. It is, isn't it? So Your Honor agrees there was no reason for the murder, correct? Perhaps the killing was on the spur of the moment. You're saying it wasn't premeditated? From the outset, I had no intention of paying heed to any of your babble. However, the fact is, the mayor made a startling discovery. A startling discovery? Why don't I like the sound of that? Alderman Cuby's secret identity. Apollo, I think Prosecutor Blackwell has figured out the Alderman's secret identity. Yeah, no duh. But even if he has, why would it be a motive for the mayor to commit murder? This is not good. The patch of fur was discovered at the crime scene. It's from the mask worn by the amazing Ninetales. Therefore, we can conclude that this mask was at the crime scene. Oh my, but why would it have been there? The victim was a former pro wrestler and a member of the anti-merger movement. Need I say more? Could it really be? Your baldness has had an epiphany, I see. Our victim, Rex QB, was the amazing Ninetales, and the mayor's discovery of this fact was his motive for murder. No! Order! Order! What a shocking development! A motive clearer than crystal clear! What do we do now, Apollo? I didn't think they'd tie the Alderman's secret identity to the mayor's motive for murder. At last, we've reached my real point. Why did the Alderman have to forge a secret identity? Does it not pique your interest, your boldness? I admit it does. It is odd that he had to create this other persona just to secretly participate in the anti-merger movement. Very astute of you, your boldness. Right. Now, take a look at this. Ah. It's a blackmail letter. If you value your dearest life, you will merge Ninetales Vale with Tenma Town. This blackmail letter was found in Alderman Kyubi's pocket. What? Wait a minute, Tenma was the one who said that he was being threatened to do the merger. At present, the Alderman's wife is in the hospital, and that letter is clear evidence the mayor was blackmailing him by threatening her life. Wait, didn't the blackmail letter sent to Mayor Tenma go missing? Right after the Alderman's murder? You think maybe the killer took the letter from the mayor after the murder and planted it into the Alderman's pocket? It's possible, but we don't have any proof that that's what happened. Talk about being up the creek without a paddle. Blackmail letter. A threatening letter discovered in one of Alderman Kyubi's pockets. Oh boy. Mayor Tenma would have made a clean getaway if he just left after planning the yokai things, but he was knocked out cold by a sudden decision to kill the amazing Ninetales. So it was the amazing Ninetales' counterattack that brought the entire crime to light. Oh, wait a sec. Fulbright's claiming that the mayor killed the alderman after planting the yokai evidence, and the mayor was knocked out cold immediately after that? Detective Fulbright, please add your previous statement to your testimony. Right, what is he saying here? Mayor Tenma killed the sleeping alderman after planting the feathers in tracks. Hang on, let's look at the crime scene photo. He killed the sleeping alderman after planting the feathers in tracks. Wait. But the bloodstains don't match up. If he'd have killed the alderman... Yeah. The feathers were planted after the murder, not before, because the feathers would be bloody too. So we got a objection there, yeah. Detective Fulbright, your sense of justice is anything but fair. What's this? You dare question my justice again? Yes, and I'm gonna prove it to you. Take a look at this photo. This is the crime scene photo. And just what does this prove? It proves when the feathers and tracks were planted. But I already told you they were planted before the murder. The defendant planted the yokai evidence, then was knocked out while killing his victim. But that would be impossible. If you look right here, it's clear when the feathers and tracks were left at the scene. It's, right, the big blood stain, right? Aren't you just pointing to the yokai feathers and tracks, Mr. Justice? Yes. See how the feathers are on top of the blood? And the tracks were made in blood? In other words, the yokai evidence could have only resulted after the murder. Then the mayor must have planted the evidence after killing the alderman. But you said it yourself. The mayor had been knocked unconscious thereafter. there would have been no time for him to plant any evidence at all. Therefore, there must have been someone else besides the mayor and the alderman at the crime scene. Ah! There must be some kind of mistake. Order! Order! Where's your evidence? You can't possibly have any, can you? Evidence? Oh, I have evidence. In fact, I have an eyewitness's testimony for you. You do? But how? Was my vaunted sense of justice really just half-baked? He's taking this really hard. Mr. Justice, what is this testimony regarding a third party that you claim to have? I have it right here, Your Honor. It's the sworn testimony of Mr. Tenma's daughter. The witness, Jinxie Tenma, saw a yokai in the hallway after stumbling upon the scene. It was the demon, Tenma Taro. He's the source of those feathers and tracks. Yeah. Will somebody please say something? The defense will explain to the court exactly what he means. You dare to mug this court and justice itself? You're unfit to bear your name, boy. Your baldness. It appears our defense attorney is delirious from exhaustion. Apollo, think of something quick before you're held in contempt of court. What do you think I'm trying to do? Before you decide whether I should step down, please hear me out. Very well, Mr. Justice. I'm all ears. But you had better explain yourself well. What was this yokai you were talking about? It's all in this statement here. Jinxie Tenma asserts that she saw Tenma Taro. After she discovered the crime scene and called the police, she came around a corner in the hall. It was around here that she saw Tenma Taro fleeing toward the foyer. The defense asserts that whoever was impersonating this monster is the one who left those feathers and tracks behind, intentionally or otherwise. What? How incredibly unjust! Why haven't I heard about this before? The defense just proved there was someone else. So the mayor isn't the killer? Was it all a setup? The prosecutor is a convicted felon, after all. Apollo, the momentum has shifted in our favor. Good. Now let's keep it that way.
Objection!
Little do you realize that though you are in the midst of a fray, your sword is broken. My sword? I didn't know I had one to break. Are you implying there's a problem with my claim? Consider this. If that yokai impersonator had indeed fled toward the foyer, that fool and that fop would have seen him. Fool and fop? Oh, you mean Filch and LaBelle. Now that you mention it. Both Phineas Filch and Florent LaBelle were in the foyer at the time. But they haven't stated that they saw a yokai, have they? Did you ever consider that yokai was but a figment of a scared little girl's imagination? Why didn't those two see the Tenma Taro impersonator pass by? Why don't we ask them ourselves? I was just about to say that myself. No, really, I was. The defense would like to call Mr. Phineas Filch, caretaker of QB Manor, to the stand. I just know he must have seen something. I suppose we can't ignore the fact that the little girl believes she saw a monster. I trust you have no objections to Mr. Justice's request, Prosecutor Blackquill. I understand that Mr. Filch is enjoying a nap out in the lobby. I knew that Tanuki was a rare find, but when we captured him, I didn't think he'd end up as a witness. Do with him as you will. Did he just say captured? No, wait. I don't want to know. Very well, then. Bailiff, please go wake Mr. Filch and escort him to the witness stand. Will the witness state his name and occupation, please? The name's Filch, Phineas Filch, caretaker of QB Manor. Oh, and this is for you, your lordship. Just a little something I thought you might like. Oh my, what a fabulous pair of shoes! And your honor will do just fine, Mr. Filch. Ah, it's those shoes again. Don't they belong to Detective Fulbright? Don't tell me Filch stole them again. They're all yours, your honorship, sir. What? But they seem awfully expensive. Yep, too expensive for me. But I reckon they'd be perfect for someone like your lordship. It's a kind gesture, but legal ethics dictate I can't accept such gifts. Oh, ethics schmethics. Just take them if you want them. I polished them up real nice for you, too. I'm sorry about the shoes, Mr. Filch, but I will accept your testimony. The court would like to hear whether you saw Tenma Taro in the foyer after the murder. Guarding the foyer. All right. At the time of the murder, I was on guard duty in the foyer, just like Mr. QB asked. I was making sure no one, fair, foul, fishy, or otherwise, could get to our guest. I was still in my office, keeping a good watch when the murder happened at 3 p.m. Hang on a second. Because there was a TV show on at 3 p.m. He was not keeping a good watch because he was watching this TV show. The Howling Wolf versus the Pretty Boy Vampire. Blow-by-blow commentary by Timothy Twilight. Oh no! I just realized. It's a Twilight reference. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. Moving on. We gotta get past that. But I didn't see nothing out of the ordinary. No siree. That yokai you keep jabbering on about was but a phantom of a little girl's dreams. So, you're telling this court you never saw anyone dressed up like Tenma Taro? Yep, was guarding the whole time. That's the truth, the holy truth, and nut about the truth. And Tenma Taro? Bah, you don't really believe in all that yokai mumbo jumbo, do you? I certainly don't. Uh-oh. My bracelet. It's... Something the matter, Apollo? My bracelet keeps squeezing my arm. Really? So you think Mr. Filch has been lying to us? I wouldn't rule it out. He's such a trustworthy guy, though. Now, if I could just zero in on a tell. Some sort of nervous habit. What the... What's a hawk doing in here? Allow me to introduce my trusty cohort, Taka. He seems to have taken quite a liking to the courthouse. Made it his new home, in fact. He doesn't live with you? You know, in jail? Who's ever heard of a courthouse bird? Taka simply loathes trickery and fraud. And that queer power of yours seems to have offended my dear bosom buzzard. This isn't some sort of trick or... I won't be able to spot squat like this. What the heck's going on around here? Run for the hills! No pets or other animals allowed in the courtroom. Somebody help! Oh, he's merely having a bit of sport. He won't harm you, save when truly famished. In that case, Prosecutor Blackquill, you will ensure your feathered friend is properly fed. Looks like we have to do this the old-fashioned way. We'll be fine, I think. If there was someone dressed as Tenma Taro there, Filch should have seen him. We'll just have to put our faith in Jinxie's statement for now. Mr. Justice, please proceed with your cross-examination. I like the prosecutor just like, nope, you don't get to use your super magic powers, defense attorney. Guarding the foyer. Okay. The time of the murder. Alright. Mr. Filch, why did Alderman Kyubi have you handle guard duty? Because he trusts me. I am the man as caretaker, after all. So, you said you took said guard duty seriously? Let me tell you something about me. I'm... Yipes! Listen here, you little tanuki. Get straight to the point and be quick about it. The court wishes to hear what you did or didn't see in the foyer and not else. Yes, of course, sir. Right away, sir. Blackwell's got him completely under his thumb. Like I said, I was guarding the foyer entrance that day. I was making sure no one, fair, foul, fishy, otherwise, could get to our guest. Alright, hang on. Ask about this one. So no one could get to him. Sounds like security was pretty tight. That's because there's always lots of sneaks and thieves around festival time. And the solution was to entrust the manor's security to a thief? That's not even funny. Maybe it's a matter of stopping thieves by hiring one. After all, it takes one to know one. I don't know. It seems more like letting the Fonks guard the henhouse to me. So the witness testifies that he took his guard duty seriously. Yes, sir. Your Honorship, sir. I was still in my office keeping good watch. Did you really keep an eye on the foyer the entire time? Poor old Filchy. Been working hard my whole life. Only to be smeared by some greenhorn in his fancy schmancy suit and silly haircut. Sorry, Mr. Blackwell, sir. I didn't mean to get off subject there. Sheesh, Blackwell didn't even say anything. To answer your question, yes, I kept an eye... No, both of them, in fact, on the foyer. Which we know is not true. We'll finish this out. But I didn't see nothing out of the ordinary. Okay, let's see what we got. Could you describe to the court who you would consider fishy-looking? Someone all fidgety and shifty-like, like they're about to steal something. He just described himself. I wonder why Mr. Filch didn't see Tenmataro. Or maybe Jinxie only thinks she saw Tenmataro, or maybe Mr. Filch is lying. And if he's lying, we might be able to spot a contradiction in his testimony. Which we already know what it is. It was this one, right? Good watch when the murder... Because he was watching the TV show. Don't lie to the court like that, Mr. Filch. Hey, it ain't right to bushwhack a fellow like that. Unfortunately for you, I have evidence that proves you're lying. If you look at this TV listing here, you'll see that at the time of the crime, there was a pro wrestling match scheduled. Something you'd never miss. I didn't watch that one! No, sorry! I was doing my job just like I was supposed to. This guy doesn't know when to give up. Now, Mr. Filch, someone even circled the match. It was you, right? Yipes! Not only that, you even told me you watched it. You said, and I quote, "It was a complete disaster." Ugh. So, do you admit to slacking off? You can't trick me with your Rudy Pool lawyer talk. I'm one of them professional types, too. I can do double duty, watching TV and the foyer at the same time. The only thing Filch can claim to be a professional of is professional thief. Mr. Justice, you would have this court believe the witness was slacking off? That's correct. He claims to have been watching TV and the foyer at the same time. But that's nothing but a bald-faced lie. Bald, you say? But I'm not the one who's lying. Perhaps you mean the witness, Mr. Justice? Oh, jeez. And in that case, let's see what evidence you could offer. You claim Mr. Filch is lying about watching TV in the foyer simultaneously. Now prove it. Well, if you look here at the caretaker's office, he would have to be sitting here looking at the TV. There is absolutely no way he would be looking outside at the same time. Please take a look at the direction the TV is facing in the diagram. Now, unless Mr. Filch has eyes where his right ear should be, I think it would be impossible to watch the foyer entrance and the TV at the same time. Why, yes! Someone watching TV there couldn't possibly see the entrance. Exactly, and that means, Mr. Filch, you were slacking off and were not doing what you claim. Yipes! The cat's out of the bag. The bag's out of the cat. The other way around. Order! But, Mr. Justice, is Mr. Filch's less than stellar work ethic relevant to this case? It's very relevant, because while he was slacking off watching TV, there really could have been a Tenmataro impersonator in the foyer. What now? Granted, this Tanuki was lax in his duties, but he still had the foyer entrance covered. What are you talking about? This. I'm not a mind reader. Ugh! Auditory sense. His eyes may have been slacking off, but his ears were still hard at work. Right, Tanuki? They were? Yes. Yes, they were. But you already admitted to slacking off. Now you say you weren't? My eyes might be lazy, but my ears ain't. I wouldn't hurt anyone in the foyer. You see, the foyer floor and stairway get all creaky squeaky when someone walks on them. Creak, creak, creak. Loud enough to wake the dead, I reckon. So, you're saying you didn't hear anybody walk by? Yep, my ears were working full-time, so who's the liar now, you no-good shyster? A lying thief calling me a shyster? This has to be the low point of my fledgling career. Gotta hand it to you, Mr. Blackwell, sir. You really are something else. You don't miss a thing. And them bags under your eyes, they're darker than mine. Fair warning, Mr. Filch. Tucker is particularly fond of Tanuki. Should you lie to this court again, you may suddenly find yourself on the menu. Heaps! Please don't hate me, Mr. Tucker, sir. The witness will henceforth testify truthfully under penalty of painful bird attack. And with that in mind, the court requests the witness revise his testimony accordingly. Here we go. Ear is working overtime. It's true, I was watching a pro wrestling match on the office TV. My eyes might have been slacking off, but my ears, they were working overtime. The floors, they're all squeaky like. No way I would have missed someone walking by. So, you see, there weren't no Tenmataro in the foyer. Superstition is the religion of feeble minds. Understand? A simple, rational explanation is best. Forget yokai, demons, and such. We must use common sense. For lacking that, our entire world would be upside down. Says the convicted prosecutor who is totally a sign of the end times for the legal world. And besides, if there were any yokai roaming about, I'd nab them and sell them to the zoo. I wonder whether Jinxie was just seeing things. Well, that seems to be the general consensus, but I'm sticking to my guns. But we can't prove she saw Tenmataro. The mayor's sure to be convicted. Then we better hope my guns fire bullets and not BBs. Alright. The defense may cross-examine the witness. Here's working overtime. It's true, I was watching a wrestling match on the office TV. Alright. You are paid for your work, aren't you? So how do you justify watching TV on the job? It ain't easy being me. I mean, I can't watch TV when we have visitors and there's no way to record stuff. Sorry, am I supposed to be consoling you over your first world problems? If those are his only problems, he should consider himself lucky. I guess pro wrestling's serious business to Mr. Filch. Pro wrestling is serious business, Apollo. Right. My eyes might have been slacking off, but my ears, they were working overtime, okay? You lied earlier about taking your guard duty seriously, didn't you? That ain't no harm in bending the truth a little, right? Oh! Listen to me, you little tanuki. Lie again, and Taka shall feast upon that forked tongue of yours. Yipes! Sorry, just let me keep my tongue. At least leave it until we get the truth out of him in any case. You were negligent in your duties, were you not? Yes, sir, I was, sir, but it ain't like that. Alright, the floor there is all creaky. No way I would have missed someone walking by. But what if they flew by? So you have pretty good ears, Mr. Filch. As good as they come, I'd say. Ain't nothing to hear a creaky floor. Plus, that Tenmataro makes a sound when he goes by. It's like a jingle jangle. Wait a minute. Whoa, ho, 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 ho. How do you know that? Because Jinxie said that Tenmataro was holding a statue, or the staff that has the jingle on it, but that's not something Tenmataro is normally depicted with. So, he knows something he shouldn't. Jingle jangle. How does he do that? It's that staff of his. That's what jingle jangles. What's he talking about, Apollo? Beats me, but I guess Tenmataro has a staff that makes noise. Come to think of it, didn't Jinxie mention something like that too? Yes, we're a little ahead of you guys here. She said she saw Tenmataro holding a staff-like object. It made a jangly sound. I guess that's the source of the noise then. Well, Mr. Justice, Mr. Filch says Tenmataro jingle jangles. Would you consider that vital information? Yes. Extremely vital. I request that it be added to his testimony. He's got spurs that Jangle Jangle is playing Fallout New Vegas. If Tenmataro would have passed by, his staff would have gone Jingle Jangle. Uh-huh. Here, should I present the scroll? Objection! Yeah, because he doesn't have that. Tenmataro's staff would make a jangly sound, you say? Well, I'm gonna say that your story doesn't add up. Is that something the defense would like to share with the court? Mr. Filch, you say that you didn't see Tenmataro on the day of the incident. Why then did you assume just now that Tenmataro would be holding a staff? Uh-huh? You see, the Tenmataro Jinxie saw held a staff in his hands, and she described its sound just like you did. It is kind of a jangly sound. Yeah, so he was holding a staff. What's your point? The point is that Tenmataro doesn't use a staff. Not normally. What are you talking about? You see, this is the only known document depicting Tenmataro. Is there a staff in that picture, Mr. Filch? You're right, there's no staff. Not even a cane or a walking stick. Duh! So the question is, why does the witness think Tenmataro uses a staff? I believe the answer will overturn the prosecution's case on the most basic level. Well now, this is getting interesting. All right, Mr. Justice, it's time to show the court where you're going with this. Please tell the court why Mr. Filch believes Tenmataro carries a staff. The scroll is wrong. Filch, he actually saw him. Mr. Filch actually saw Tenmataro right after the crime occurred. That's the only way he could possibly know about the staff. Busted again! Bloody hell, you duplicitous little... Yes, how'd that feel, Blackwell? Not so fun when you're on the receiving end of the blade, is it? Admit it, Mr. Filch. You did see Tenmataro that day, didn't you? Well? I'm begging you, please don't make me say it. Well, clearly you did see Tenmataro. Stop stalling and testify to that fact. No can do. No way. No how. You ain't got no idea how terrifying he can be. He? Mr. Filch still won't admit to seeing Tenmataro. even though everyone knows he did. The question now is, why? Mr. Filch is scared to death. Is that why he can't admit the truth? Come to think of it. They say you must not gaze upon Tenmataro, but in the event that you do look, and then tell anyone what you saw, Tenmataro will claim your soul. Right. Jinxie wouldn't admit to seeing Tenmataro after hearing about the village superstitions. She said that if she told anyone that she had seen Tenmataro, he'd claim her soul. Wait, you think Filch believes that too? So Mr. Big Time City Slicker Lawyer has heard about them? Them old village superstitions? Will the defense please explain what the witness is talking about? The people of Ninetails Vale believe some pretty strange things, and their superstitions may be the reason our witness here can't admit the truth. The truth that he really did see Tenmataro. Darn straight, that's why. It's all right here. I love the book is just called Village Superstitions. Village Superstitions. Do not gaze upon Tenmataro. Do not tell others if you see him. Ignoring the superstitions will cost you your soul. There is, however, one way to save it. Your immediate departure from the village. Freeing him will bring ruin upon the village. Okay. Ignoring the superstitions will cost you your soul? See? That's why us folks in Ninetails Vale can't talk about seeing Tenmataro. Alright, village superstitions. Got it. That clears up one mystery. The killer took advantage of the superstitions by wearing a Tenmataro costume. They know that that way no one could talk about him, so it was as if he never existed. The defense holds that this Tenmataro impersonator is the true killer. What?
Objection.
Superstitions, you say? What kind of a fool would actually believe such rubbish? And would that using some silly fairy tale could so easily expose the culprit? You'll need to come up with a more rational, common-sense explanation than that.
Objection.
Your common sense seems awfully narrow-minded to me, Prosecutor Blackquill.
Objection.
Try living in my world of narrow cells, mortal danger, and dark, sleepless nights. There is no lack of superstitions in the clique, but few are those who truly believe in them.
Objection.
Well, the village superstitions are real enough to the people of Ninetails Vale. A life or death superstition might even make you a believer. Order! Order, I say! You fool of a Tanuki! 2 times now your lies have cost me. Sorry, I promise not to do it again. Taka, my fine feathered friend, have at him. Yipes, he's gonna eat me alive. Head for the hills. He took off. Bailiff, what are you waiting for? After him, and with your fastest men. That's certainly not something you see every day. We've had 2 people flee the courtroom in 2 cases now. Well, it would seem a new and important fact has come to light. A third party disguised as the yokai Tenmataro was at the scene. And now we have 2 witnesses who can attest to that fact. Any objections, Prosecutor Blackquill? A very long pause. Oh. Oh! Uh-oh! What? Huh? Ah! These shackles. Oof! I'm too young to die. Justice Dono, long has it been since I've been forced to draw my blade. You had best say your prayers. Detective, do something! Have no fear. Fulbright is here. When the going gets tough, the champion of justice gets going. Then get going already before he kills us. Oh, but I stand in awe of Simon Blackquill, for it is his sense of justice that set him free. Objection! Objection! I object to Detective Fulbright's definition of justice.
Silence.
I'm not in the habit of cutting down unarmed cowards. Oh, well, in that case, Prosecutor Blackquill, can I ask you to, I think the judge forgot he's in charge here. So, Justice Dono's assertion is this. Tenma Taro is the real killer, not Mayor Tenma. According to him, there was a yokai at the scene of the crime. Right, and that yokai, or rather, whoever was impersonating him, killed Alderman Kyubi.
Silence.
Yeah! Care to explain why Jinxie, being the first to discover the murder, did not see your alleged killer yokai there in the Fox Chamber? What? He's right. She said nothing about Tenma Taro being in the Fox Chamber. Let me enlighten you. That little scamp heard a dying scream right before she opened the chamber door. And your point is? Upon opening the door, she found a freshly skewed murder victim, the alderman, and the homicidal maniac who had killed him, the mayor. No, there must have been someone dressed like Ah! Then, why does that little scamp claim not to have seen a yokai in the Fox Chamber? Considering her father is accused of murder, surely she would have mentioned any third party that might have been in the room. I don't understand. Why didn't she see Tenma Taro inside the Fox Chamber? There's but one way to find out. Ask Jinxie Tenma whether she saw your killer yokai at the scene of the crime. Uh-oh. The final battle draws nigh. Only one of us will leave here alive. Long as my blade thirsted for blood, at long last it shall be sated. Wait, this is still a trial, right? Show me what you're truly capable of. Justice Dono. Very well then. Both parties no doubt need some time to regroup. So the court will take a 10-minute recess in order to... Ah! 3 minutes. I'm sorry, but a 3-minute recess? Just so. Plenty of time if your destination of intent is the loo. The loo? You mean the bathroom? Sheesh, at least include enough time to wash our hands. See that you take no more than 3 minutes. All latecomers will be punished. Yes, sir. I hereby declare a 3-minute recess before the battle begins. I declare Prosecutor Blackquill winner of this round of Simon Says. Doesn't bode well for us if the prosecutor is running the show, does it? April 18th, 10:40 a.m. District Court. Defendant Lobby number 3. He busted out of his shackles. Yeah, what was that all about? I guess they don't make shackles like they used to. Better be careful, Apollo. You've really brought out the samurai in him. Especially after you proved there was a Tenma Taro impersonator at the manor. What's with that guy and the whole samurai act, anyway? Such fine swordsmanship. That is no mere act. Mr. Justice, it's high time I challenge this jailhouse prosecutor to a duel! No, wait. Let's save the dueling until after we prove your innocence. I suppose it could wait till later. Does anyone remember we're conducting a trial here? Athena, I'm gonna go wash up. Remember what Blackquill said, Apollo. Don't be late. April 18th, 10:43 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 4. Now then, I believe our next witness is Miss Jinxie Tenma, a maid at QB Manor. I believe we can proceed now, if the witness is ready, that is. Narayan, leader of the 100 demons. He really does exist. Wow, that is one well-polished tray. The witness will show her face while in court, or her testimony will be inadmissible. What is it, my child? Begone, Narayan, leader of the 100 demons. Oh, you think I'm a yokai? Well, I was once known as a judicial monster of sorts. The beast of the bar, the demon of due process, if you will. My charm has no effect. The demon of due process? Not sure I can see that one. Now, you little scamp. Yes? I trust you know why you're here. Bags. Bags? Oh, that tricksy Tanuki. Try the noodle stand. And go enjoy a big bowl of Tanuki tail noodles while you're at it. Everyone's a comedian. No, I meant your bags. The ones under your eyes. You must have trouble sleeping. Here, this charm will keep Azukurai away. The yokai that washes Azuki beans. The only thing needing washing will be your father's neck before I take his head clean off. Azukurai often keeps people up at night with the noise he makes washing beans. But if you stick this charm on your forehead, you won't hear him anymore. Is that so? Well, thank you. Looks like Prosecutor Blackwell got more than he bargained for. They're bad enough alone, but together those two are just plain creepy. Your testimony, if you please, Miss Tenma. Specifically, whether or not you saw Tenma Taro when you discovered the crime scene. All right. Did I see Tenma Taro in the Fox Chamber? Well, when I opened the door, I saw, yes, now I remember. Yokai, right there in that room. She's talking about the statues. So there was a yokai at the scene of the crime. Uh-huh. Lots and lots of them. Wait, more than one yokai? Did Tenma Taro happen to be among them? I don't know. I just don't know. All I know is the room was swimming in yokai. Kasha, Nurikabe, Satsuhaisho, they were all there. Well, this is an unexpected turn of events. We've gone from no yokai to a flood of them. This is ludicrous. You would have this court listen to this delusional little scamp's testimony. Ugh. Your Honor, I believe her memory is simply clouded by fear, but a quick therapy session should ease her mind. With the court's permission, of course. What a fabulous idea! Please, proceed, Miss Sykes. You sure you know what you're doing, Athena? She's obviously not herself. The trauma of discovering that crime scene and fear of testifying have her dazed and confused. A regular ball of confusion. But my analytical psychology-based approach should be able to help. Any objections, Prosecutor Blackwell? Shall we let Miss Sykes proceed? It makes no difference to me. Do as you will, but I doubt we shall get any viable testimony. She'd be led as served by bearing witness to the sword skills I forged in a distant land. I'll show you. Alright, where are you doing the minigames? You gotta find the weird emotions. Alright, did I see Tenma Taro in the Fox Chamber? So that's fear. Well, when I opened the door, I saw... Alright. I remember. Yokai right there in that room. Yep. Found something. Looks like an out-of-control emotion. Athena, what exactly are we looking at here? Oh, this? It's one of Widget's functions. Right here you can see images and emotions extracted from the witness's voice. Whoa, you mean that little thing can do all this? Pretty cool, huh? And here I thought it was just some kid's toy. Unfortunately, all I'm getting is an overflow error right now. Right? See how sad is brightly lit up there at the bottom left? She's under an uncontrollable amount of distress, which is masking her other emotions. It seems the sheer terror she experienced has made her a confused mess. So, all those yokai she thinks she saw are a product of rampant emotions? Yes, that's right. Her fear has instilled in her hallucinations and false memories. She's seeing normal, everyday objects as monsters in her mind. It's a form of schizophrenic hallucination brought on by emotional trauma. And the trauma in Jinxie's case is fear. So she was, and still is, seeing ordinary objects as yokai. We'll have to find the root cause of her extreme fear before I can treat it. Now, let's see. Yokai in the room. Apollo, can you point out the yokai on the Wheel of Fire? She seems particularly terrified of that one. Start by pressing probe. Next, point to what's causing Jinxie's out-of-control emotion. Finally hit probe again to try and get to the heart of the matter. Okay, let's give this a try. Alright, so we're going to probe. And pointing to the cat monster. Jinxie, what's the name for that yokai on a Wheel of Fire? That's Akasha, a yokai that steals the bodies of the recently deceased. I bet it came to steal the aldermans. It's almost creepy how well that fits the actual situation. Exactly. It's a form of hallucination where the patient can't see things for what they are. There must be something at the scene of the crime that she's mistaking for Akasha. Apollo, you need to point out what she thought was a yokai on a Wheel of Fire. I think I know the answer now. Jinxie, that wasn't Akasha you saw. Could you have possibly mistaken this for Akasha? Was it this? This is what you mistook for Akasha. What? That thing? No? I never mistake that for Akasha. Really? You have to consider what Akasha looks like, Apollo. Think brightly blazing wheel near the ceiling. Okay, let's give this another try. It's just the chandelier. I was kind of going a little bit too deep there, I guess. The light fixture? This one right here. It has a flame design and is up there on the ceiling. There was never a yokai in a Wheel of Fire. The Kasha you saw was just a light fixture. Eh. Alright. That's one memory back to normal. Nice job. Now that you've got the hang of it, it should be a cinch to point out the rest. Jinxie, what about this white wall-like monster? That's Nurikabe. It's a wall monster that blocks your way or leads you astray. That's no yokai, Jinxie. It's a folding screen. Ah! And this raccoon dog isn't a tanuki monster. It's just the statue of one. Eee! And look, these are just coffee cups. And this right here, it's nothing more than a fox statue. Eee! I don't know what I was thinking. Noise level 50%. Nice. You did it, Apollo! Her extreme fear is under control now. It was all just my eyes playing tricks on me. There weren't a yokai after all. See? A clear-cut statement. That's the power of my psychology and your intuition, Apollo. And just like we thought, there never really were any yokai in the Fox Chamber. Right. There never really were any yokai there. So, the defense is asserting the exact opposite of the original assertion. Wait, JC? What about Tenmataro? There wasn't anyone there dressed up as Tenmataro, or any other yokai either. I remember it clearly now. You've gotta be joking! Order in the court! I think we just dug our own grave. Allow me to push you on in. It's the least I could do. No! Apollo, can I interrupt your freak out for just a minute? I'm still picking up some noise. It's an unexpected emotion. Does that mean Jinxie hasn't remembered everything yet? Exactly. We should be able to get something else out of her. I'll enter the new information we have and run an update. Alright. Okay, so we got fear and surprise. When I entered the room, okay, fear and surprise. Fear, surprise. My legs gave out and I fell to the floor. Info update. Okay. There in the Fox chamber, I saw, right? The alderman dead on a table and Papa collapsed in a chair. And then nobody else was there, and that includes Tenmataro. Okay. Wait, what am I supposed to do? Try to find the emotions that contradict her statements. So if I find a contradiction, I should point it out? That's right, but it's not just any contradiction. You should also keep an eye out for sudden changes in an emotion's intensity. Her emotions might get stronger or weaker as you move from statement to statement. It's important to compare how the same emotion changes throughout the testimony. Contradictory emotions and changes in intensity. Okay, I'll give it a shot. Alright, so what do we got? We have equal parts... Well, we have sadness and then surprise. And then surprise, I'm so scared. Okay. A ton of surprise there. The alderman dead on the table. Nobody else was there, and that includes Tenmataro. Is this it? The sadness? This seems like an unnatural reaction. Really? Because I don't see it that way. So it isn't unexpected given her testimony? Hello? Is there anybody in there? Just nod if you can hear me. Yes, there is someone at home, and that someone is going to try that again. Alright? Is it this one where she's saying she's scared, but fear is kind of like... I was so scared when I entered the room. I know they're both kind of intense there. Maybe this? The sadness is so low? The amount of fear you felt is rather low, despite your legs having given out from fright. Could something have lessened your fear? Actually, I did experience a sudden burst of courage at that moment. You did? Where did it come from? Let me think. Oh, it was Mama. It suddenly felt as if she was there with me. Okay, I'll enter sudden burst of courage. Now let's see. Ah, look! Apollo, the noise is all gone. Jinxie seems to have remembered everything now. Alright, we have 0% noise. Cool. A sudden burst of courage. Now where could that have come from? Jinxie, was there something that gave you a sudden burst of courage? Yes, there was, but I realized I had done something naughty when I thought about it later. Any idea what could have given Jinxie that courage? Well, there is one piece of evidence that comes to mind. I wonder if she saw something like it at the scene of the crime. Daisy, did your sudden burst of courage have anything to do with this? The Nine-Tails flower. Jinxie, you didn't happen to see a Nine-Tails flower there at the scene, did you? The demon lawyer strikes again! I can't hide anything from you! I found a small case with a picture of a Nine-Tails flower on it. I liked it so much I kept it. You what? You can't remove evidence from a crime scene. That's right, young lady. Removing evidence is a big no-no. Now, the witness will produce said evidence this instant. Sorry. It does seem to be some sort of case. Oh, look, something slid out. It appears to be a key. Might I have a look, your baldness? He gave it to the bird. Ah, this is none other than the master key to QB Manor. Are you certain of this, Prosecutor Blackquill? It matches the serial number of the key that went missing after the murder. A master key that went missing? Why don't I like the sound of that? Our little scamp here has stumbled upon an article of unimaginable consequence. That's a little melodramatic, don't you think? Heed these words, for I shall say them but once. The sole key to the Fox Chamber has been in this little scamp's constant possession. Ergo, she was the sole person who could use it before, during, and after the murder. Which leaves the master key as the only other key that could have opened the chamber. But this master key was found in a room that had been locked by this girl. And your point is? Oh no, it's a locked room. Until Jinxie Tenma opened the Fox Chamber with her key, the room had been locked tight from the outside world. And there was no one in there save the victim and his killer. I trust you figured it out for yourself by now. A killer other than Mayor Tenma himself would be utterly inconceivable. No! Uh-oh. How could this happen? Ugh. The defense's assistant will refrain from growling her frustrations. Athena, are you alright? Oh, I know Mayor Tenma's innocent, but there's nothing we can do. This sucks! Sykes-Stono, allow me to put you out of your misery. Can I decline your offer? Abandon your client and your misplaced faith in him. Let the relief of a clear head and a clean conscience come rushing in. That will make the inevitable guilty verdict far easier to accept. Great, now he's playing Simon Says with us. Well, he's not gonna fool us with his stupid mind games. Athena, don't fall for his tricks. Now I'm the one who's dazed and confused. I can't even think straight. Hey, are you alright? Oh, she fell right into his trap. Now, I suggest you make a mad dash from the courtroom into the wild blue yonder. Only by running shall your mind be cleared and your conscience cleansed. Alright, I'll be back in 10. Stay with me, Athena. Don't let yourself be twisted by that samurai. Apollo? Mr. Justice, I heard the word objection, but what is it you object to? Huh? Oh, right. That objection was more of a reflex than anything else. Though I was hoping something would come to me while I was trying to stop Athena. The court is waiting, Mr. Justice, though, as it stands now, I'll be forced to declare your client guilty, and your legal skills suspect if this is it. Now, do you have anything that could overturn the prosecution's case? Well, actually, I do. I'm Apollo Justice, and I'm fine. Apollo, you do have something more than your cords of steel, don't you? Not really, but we'll be fine. But... I've got absolutely nothing. But that's never stopped me before. I have to explain how the real killer could have escaped that locked room. Because it's all over if I don't. Apollo, this calls for a new approach. Try to think outside the box. Or in this case, inside the box. And what a doozy that locked room is, too. Well, Mr. Justice, Do you have anything that can counter the prosecution's argument? You bet I do. The real killer must have escaped from the locked room one way or another. Vague conjecture shall only earn you a taste of my blade, Justice Dono. Time to do or die. Literally. The defense will now explain how it would be possible to escape the locked room. You sure about this, Apollo? Can you really explain what happened? I'm fine. We just need to think this whole escaping a locked room thing over from the beginning. So, let's see. The killer had escaped. How could they have done so? The choices are pretty limited. Let's see. The room has a... I'm going to take a very quick break and be right back, because this didn't do the usual court thing. Thanks to Prosecutor Blackwell. But I'll be right back. I'm back. Let's keep going. The room has a window, but it doesn't open wide enough for anyone to get through, and there's a sheer cliff outside. As for the air vent, it's up too high, and there's nothing you could stand on to reach it. And needless to say, the forbidden chamber wouldn't open no matter what we did, so that's out. Yeah, that's why we gotta keep the solution simple. Like they say, simple is best. We need to rule out all of the absolutely impossible escape routes. Then whatever's left just might lead us to how the Fox Chamber was compromised. Your Honor, the defense proposes that the killer escaped through here. Where did the killer escape from? Okay. Let's consider. We got the Forbidden Chamber. The air duct. And then we have the window. The problem with the window, we know, is that it's sheer cliffs outside. The air duct is too hard to get up on. The Forbidden Chamber cannot be opened. So the other possibility... Hang on. Let's look at the crime scene photo again. So let's see, we got them knocked out there. We do have that folding screen. Hard to say. After leaving the scene and calling the police, they passed each other at a bend in the hall. She couldn't call for help because there was no one else in the hall. I mean, did he just go through the front? I'm wondering, did he hide behind the screen and then after she left to go make the call, he ran out? Is it that simple? I don't know, let's see. The hallway door? Well, yes, I suppose that would be the only way out. It would appear you've already forgotten. The only available key until Jinxie Tenma came on scene was within that locked room. How would one exit the Fox Chamber and then lock it without a key? I should have seen this coming. Remember, Apollo, keep it simple. Simple, right. I could understand if the killer had exited the room with the key, but... Well, Mr. Justice, the prosecution has some fine Japanese steel waiting unless you explain yourself quickly. I'm fine. I can explain myself. The reason the Fox Chamber's hallway door was locked was because Tenma locked it from inside. No, the perp locked it from the outside. Oh. Hang on a second. No, wait. I don't want to see I want to see this. Is it possible? Where did she find the key? As crazy as this sounds, I'm wondering if... Okay, let's say the perpetrator came outside. Well, we know the LaBelle. We know who it is. Came out after killing the alderman. Came out, locked this door, and then threw it through the air duct. Actually somehow got into the air duct and threw it out, because I wonder if it's more easily accessible. Because that's entirely possible. They could have come out, locked the door. So I'm thinking it's the perp locked it from the outside. What if the room was locked from the outside? In other words, the killer took the key through the hallway door and then locked it. Youch! Consider this. The master key was found inside the tightly locked Fox Chamber. Any assertion that the key was removed from that room is a blatant contradiction of fact. Exiting the room before locking the door would require taking the key outside, but the key was found inside the room, which does seem like a contradiction. If only we could explain both. Like how the key could be inside the room and be used to lock the door from outside. Well, let's see if the defense can respond before Prosecutor Blackwell draws his sword. How could the master key be at the crime scene despite the room being locked tight? It was thrown back in. What if someone threw it into the room from outside? You know, something like go out the hallway door, lock the room, and then toss the key back in through the window? That would explain how the master key could be inside the locked room. And where would you throw it from? There is a cliff outside the Fox Chamber's window. Throwing the key in from there is an impossibility. Oh, right. Oh! I wonder if the key could have been tossed in from somewhere other than the window. Somewhere other than the window? Huh. Could the key have been tossed in through somewhere other than the window? Yeah, the air duct. The air vent? Yes, the window may be out of the question, but the air vent's not. Oh, that's right. The Fox Chamber's air duct leads out into the hallway. That's right. The real killer entered the air duct from the vent outside the Fox Chamber. Then dropped the key into the room, through the vent, inside the chamber. Ugh! That's preposterous. Oh, that explains how the key got in there after it was used to lock the door perfectly. Mr. Justice, I'm afraid I'm a bit confused. Don't worry. I'll explain it so even Your Honor can understand. Ouch. that reaction. First, the real killer, disguised as Ten Mataro, murdered the alderman in the Fox Chamber. Then they fled the room through the hallway door, and locked it. Next, they entered the air duct from the vent outside in the hallway. Finally, the killer tossed the key into the room through the air vent in the ceiling there. All that was left to do after that was to go back through the duct and flee the manor. Well, Your Honor, could that be any clearer? Amazing! Even I could follow that. The judge seems really pleased. That explains everything. The real killer was someone dressed up like Ten Mataro. And there was someone else other than the mayor and the alderman in that room. Hey, it looks like that lawyer has beaten the jailbird prosecutor. Whoa, that was a total turnabout. That massive forehead of his seems so attractive right now. Order, 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 I say. Now that I've proved a possible third party, I don't see how our client could be guilty.
Silence.
A valiant effort, Justice Dono, but your final thrust missed its mark. Huh? Both that little scamp and the tricksy tanuki saw the yokai after it left the room. But then what? Did that irksome yokai simply go through the foyer and waltz out to the front door? That's exactly what happened. The killer fled from the— Youch! But that is impossible, without being spotted by the foyer security camera, that is. The electric eye here would have captured any pesky little yokai trying to escape. However, there is no sign of Ten Mataro anywhere in the security footage. What? Save for the foyer entrance, there is no other way to flee the manor, is there? I don't feel so good. Wait, I believe there is one other way to escape besides the foyer entrance. There's a large window in the foyer. It's possible to escape through there without being seen by the security camera. Hey, you're right.
Silence.
Must I point out every crucial detail to the defense? It seems you lack not only brains, but investigative prowess to boot. That is the cliff side of the manor. The only killer escaping that way would be a dead one. No! Wait, so the killer didn't escape out the foyer window? What the heck, right? Ha! I suppose your next proposal is the killer spreaded wings and flew off into the sunset? Hang on a second. That's exactly what happened. That would mean the killer really was a yokai. If only we had some sort of evidence that point to a flying killer. Who's saying we don't? As completely far-fetched as it might be. What? You're saying you can prove the killer could fly? Whoa, I thought I was the one with the cords of steel. Oh, I can't wait to hear this. Your Honor? What evidence do you have that the killer flew away? Special edition paper. Take a look at this special edition paper. Tenma Taro? Real or flight of fancy? What does this article prove, Mr. Justice? The photo in that article was taken shortly after the murder. Maybe the yokai in that photo is the killer shortly after they fled out of the window? Mr. Justice, you're not seriously suggesting... Oh, I'm serious. I mean, it all adds up. The killer, disguised as Tenma Taro, flew away. You know, by some way or another.
Silence.
It is your brain that has flown the coop. That image is not but trick photography or some other form of artifice. Okay then, but how about the Tenma Taro figure Mr. Filch saw? It just vanished into thin air? No, there is a rational, common-sense explanation for that. That infernal yokai or Trixie Tanuki witness never reached the entrance. He, or should I say she, turned back before the camera's electric eye. She? I don't like where this is going one bit. Now, the fact that we know the yokai had come from the Fox Chamber means that it was likely either Mayor Damien Tenma or his daughter Jinxie Tenma. However, we know that Mayor Tenma was already unconscious at that time. Not good. Not good at all. Do you understand the gravity of the situation now, Justice Dono? The falsified yokai remnants and the appearance of Tenma Taro were the work of one individual. And that individual is none other than Jinxie Tenma. Uh-oh. Ah, no! Order! Order! The defense will stop competing for the greatest freakout ever! The little scamp was, no doubt, simply trying to protect her father. And it's no wonder that her superstitious mind conjured up this mad masquerade. Prosecutor Blackwell's assertion makes perfect sense to me. It's far more convincing than saying the killer escaped by flying out of the window. Did you truly believe this could end any other way? Did we fall right into his trap? What do we do now, Apollo? Our case no longer stands without a real yokai. If only we had one. Bailiff, seize her. It's time I interrogated her as the samurai of yore would. Mayor Tenma? This farce is over. How does it feel, seeing your own daughter accused of a cover-up most foul? Tenma Taro's true identity is... No, Mr. Mayor. It would be fertile at this point to claim you were the yokai. After all, you'd been knocked out cold by a blow to the skull. Slipping into a yokai costume and roaming about the manor would be all but impossible. Consider this well. As it stands, your daughter will be arrested for obstruction of justice. But if you confess, prosecution would be willing to overlook her little yokai farce. Confess? The defendant intends to confess? Wait. Apollo, Prosecutor Blackwell's up to his mind games again. Mayor Tenma, no! Don't fall for his twisted words! If you're sent away for murder, Jinxie will be left all alone. The real killer is... Mayor Tenma's gonna confess unless we do something. But I can't prove how the real killer could have flown away. Caw. Look upon me in despair, for ripe is the time for my return. Huh? Uh-oh. I should watch what I wish for. Ka! Foolish mortals! I am Tenma Taro, the yokai you seek! Mayor Tenma? Silence! I am Tenma Taro, freed from the bonds binding me to the Forbidden Chamber. Behold, the return of the Demon King! What the... Demon King? Well then, I think it's time for me to take a vacation. The witness will, he will explain himself. Are you saying you're Tenma Taro, the yokai we've been chasing this whole time? Indeed, it is I, Tenma Taro, the one whom you seek, come to reveal the truth. This child is Tenma Taro, you say? Ha ha ha! What nonsense! So, Mayor Tenma is a yokai now? Ka! His body is now mine! So you're saying that Mayor Tenma is being possessed by you? And that the yokai that Jinxie Tenma and Phineas Phillips saw? And the one captured in the newspaper photo, those were all you? The accused power of those warding charms prevents me from revealing my true form. Your boldness? Can this not be interpreted as an admission of guilt? Well, a confession by a yokai would be quite unprecedented. Be that as it may, the defense's case has been overturned. Huh? What? You claim the yokai that little scamp saw was some third party, the true killer, the one who escaped from the locked fox chamber. But it was the accused all along. Ah! Ironic, is it not? Your yokai turned out to be real, in a manner of speaking. For the alderman's killer is none other than Mayor Tenma. And the yokai at the scene, that too was Mayor Tenma. Or should I say, our dear Tenma Taro. The pieces have all fallen into place. How so, Prosecutor Blackwell? It seems I must spell it all out for you. Mayor Tenma killed the alderman in the fox chamber, which was locked at the time. He then removed the warding charms from the Forbidden Chamber's door, but then fell unconscious from the blow the alderman had delivered to his head. That's when his daughter Jinxie Tenma stumbled on the scene of the crime. The little scamp fled in terror, whereupon the spirit of Tenma Taro, freed at last from the charm's warding effect, took possession of the mayor. The newly freed Tenma Taro then fled from the fox chamber. So you see, the yokai Jinxie Tenma saw was her father, possessed by Tenma Taro. But when we arrived on scene, the mayor was found unconscious. How's that possible if he was supposed to have fallen out of the foyer window? Then what? Do you mean to say the maid of Kyubi Manor, Jinxie Tenma, was Tenma Taro? Oh. Ka! That too is easily explained. Flew about for a time, did I? But presently tired, I made for the Forbidden Chamber. But alas, exhaustion took me unawares in the Fox Chamber, and I knew no more. It would seem the pieces are still in place. Is Blackwell up to his tricks again? I don't know what to say. Is the defendant a real, live? So that rumor about Mayor Tenma's true? I knew yokai were real. You mean he really did kill the alderman just so he could release Tenma Taro? Order! Order! Now he's got everyone in the courtroom believing in yokai. It's Simon Says on steroids. He wants to convict our client any way he can, even if it means blaming a yokai. The proverbial ducks are all in a row. You should now have no qualms about finding the accused guilty, Your Boldness. This is one of the most bizarre cases in my entire career. Otherworldly, in fact. Never mind that time that someone literally got exorcised in the middle of the courtroom about 7 years ago. Can yokai even be prosecuted under our legal system? Mayor Tenma is just pretending to be Tenma Taro to protect his daughter. Plus, I already proved how a third party could have escaped from the locked room. A verdict at this point would be premature. Since both sides have raised valid points, I've no choice but to...
Silence.
This is the dark age of law where defense attorneys are not to be trusted. This is but a ploy to gain time for them to fabricate evidence. How will I sleep tonight? Knowing you will not let the sun rise on the mayor's day of reckoning, Justice Dono. I won't fabricate any evidence. Then prove it by joining me. A night in the clink will ensure you will not succumb to temptation. How about I just promise not to succumb to anything? We have both evidence and a confession. The killer is this yokai before us. It is beyond dispute. A guilty verdict is all but... What's wrong with him? Prosecutor Blackwell, we've had enough of your hijinks. The foundation of justice is fair play, and you are in serious violation of that. What in the devil was that? Fulbright, have you tampered with my shackles in some manner? It seems you found that quite shocking. It's my special Jolt of Justice device. Each press is a shocking reminder to behave. You shall pay for this. I, Simon Blackwell, vow to... Your Honor, you need not fear now. I believe Prosecutor Blackwell will remain on his best behavior. A bit late with the reassurances, aren't we, Detective? Well, in that case, this concludes today's deliberations. The prosecution and defense will use this opportunity to further their investigations. This court is adjourned. All right, to be continued. All right, we're in to investigation day 2. We can continue for a little bit longer. April 18th, 1:20 p.m. Write Anything Agency. Having a yokai testify in court is unprecedented, to say the least. I am Tenma Taro, the yokai you seek. How could such a straight-laced man like Mr. Tenma suddenly become a demon? Yeah, it's strange. Even worse, Prosecutor Blackwell's playing along. I can't even think straight anymore. I need to go out for a run. See you in a bit. Wait, what about the investigation? Back! Whoa, Trucy, welcome back. Oh, you're in your stage outfit. Back from work? Yep, I really nailed this new magic trick I've been working on. I also heard about those tricks that were conjured up in court earlier today. You know, the demon out of nowhere trick and Polly's tightrope style defense trick? I was seriously considering a disappearing act on my own after all that craziness. Anyway, our next trick is to find a suspect other than the mayor. I know the killer must have used the air duct in their escape. And whoever did that was the Tenmataro that Mr. Filch and Jinxie saw. Right. Maybe there's some evidence in the air duct. The real fight starts right now. Hey, before you go, let me make the evidence you no longer need disappear. 3, 2, 1. Ta-da! Unnecessary evidence has disappeared into Trucy's magic panties. I wonder where all that stuff goes. I'm glad Trucy just automatically knows what isn't relevant anymore. Okay, let's get over to the scene of the crime. Vamonos, Apollo! Vamonos! April 18th, QB Manor, Fox Chamber. Detective Fulbright, mind if we search the air duct? Well, since you really are on the side of justice, I suppose I can let you. Plus, my own sense of justice has been called into doubt. So, I wonder if he's been like this ever since the trial. Well, his sense of justice has been beaten to a pulp. It will probably take a while for him to recover. I sort of feel bad for him, but we have work to do. Let's go get the evidence we need. The air duct is the key. We know the Tenmataro impersonator used it to make an escape. After murdering the alderman, the killer left the Fox chamber through the hallway door. Then, after locking the door from the outside, the killer entered the air duct in the hallway. Finally, the killer dropped the key into the Fox chamber through the air vent here. Then went back through the air duct and fled the manor. It's a very nice summary. That's how the illusion of no one entering or leaving the locked room was created. If the killer passed through the air duct, maybe we'll find some evidence there. Yeah, maybe some black feathers or something like that. Well, here's our vent. It's awfully high up. Oh, don't worry, I brought a stepladder. Happy hunting! How nice of her to volunteer me for the job. Whoa, a ladder? We gotta look at that. Whoa, it's pitch black in here. Well, here goes nothing. There's a thick layer of dust in here. I don't get it. Find anything? Yikes, Apollo, what happened? You're covered in dust. Yeah, dust. Lots of dust. So what did you find? You know how dust collects on something when nobody uses it for a long time? Yeah, like Mr. Wright's desk back at the office. Right. You think it'd be possible to crawl over that sort of dust without leaving a trail? I seriously doubt it. Wait, you're not suggesting... No one's gone through the duct lately? Kinda looks that way. And if it's true, Mayor Tenma is gonna be fingered as the killer. But if we don't turn things around quickly... In justice we trust! Sorry, Mr. Justice. But it seems your justice was not the most just after all. It is my sense of justice that has prevailed. Oh. Detective Fulbright sure seems chipper all of a sudden. And I'm back to my old devastated self. Ah, come on, where's that never say die spirit? Bring it on, Mr. Lawyer Man. Bring it on. Let me suffer in peace. Justice prevails once more. It's not over yet. And besides, kicking someone when they're down is what bad guys do. Oh! Are you calling me a bad guy? Me? Bobby Fulbright? Champion of justice? Then how about some information on the investigation? We need some help here. Information? About the investigation? All right. But I won't have you calling me a bad guy ever again. Understood? We did it, Apollo. Yeah, but how long can we keep this up? All right. The investigation. Can't believe Prosecutor Blackwell would stoop that low. I mean, to pinning the blame on a yokai? He really wants a conviction at all costs. she could give a yokai a run for its money when she's mad. Yes, well, I have him writing a self-reflective essay as we speak. I doubt that'll teach him anything. Yeah, I'll probably just write dotard 1,000 times. That whole yokai business is most likely a ploy to win a conviction. Truth is, Prosecutor Blackwell believes Jinxie Tenma planted that yokai stuff. Planted it in an effort to protect her father, the real killer. Yeah, right. I'd like to see him prove it. Whoa, calm down. He doesn't have any direct evidence, but we did find this. It was at the base of the cliff, just outside Kyubi Manor. Wait, that isn't the staff Tenmataro was supposedly carrying, is it? The one and only. Miss Tenma, no doubt, tossed it over the cliff when she was done. No way! Well, what about Prince? Nope, no Prince. But if she was wearing a costume, there wouldn't be any anyway. Well, Prince or no Prince, it's not gonna work in our favor. Sounds like the staff might have belonged to the mansion. But if that's the case... then where in the mansion did Tenmataro get it from? The Amazing Ninetales. Did Prosecutor Blackwell figure out that the victim was the Amazing Ninetales? He did indeed. He's a sharp one, all right. He figured it out while investigating the municipal merger in the victim's past. The Amazing Ninetales sparked the yokai craze and worked against the merger. And Mayor Damien Tenma is the corrupt politician who murdered that great hero. The Amazing Ninetales' fans are so angry, they even tried to storm the detention center. I don't blame them. I mean, their favorite masked wrestling hero was murdered. They must have been shocked when they found out what happened. Speaking of which, isn't Jinxie also a fan of the Amazing Ninetales? A wrestler's mask is more precious than his own life. He'd never unmask himself in front of others. But there are matches where wrestlers battle for the right to remove each other's masks. To have your mask torn off is the worst humiliation a wrestler could suffer. That's why their masks are more important to them than life itself. She spoke with a passion that only a fan could appreciate. We ought to become fans ourselves and go protest in front of the prison. What? No! Did you forget that Mayor Tenma is not only Jinxie's father, but our client? Oh, yeah. You be careful now. You're defending the most hated mayor in history. I just hope you don't find yourselves on the wrong end of a figure 4 leg lock. Maybe I should wear a mask to hide my identity. The most hated mayor in history, huh? Are there any other new developments we should know? Now that you mention it. Our suspect is still suffering partial memory loss, but he did manage to remember something. He did? What did he say? He said he didn't want to speak with us. His exact words were, "I am under no obligation to speak with you mortals." And other things of that nature. I wonder what Mayor Tenma remembered. Too bad you can't go ask him now, because Prosecutor Blackwell's busy questioning him. I know! Why don't you wait down to the playground with the rest of the kids? Ha ha ha! What now, Apollo? How about regrouping back at the agency? Good idea. We might get some words of wisdom out of Mr. Wright while we're there. It is nice that, Phoenix is just kind of on hand. Hey, you want to look at my attorney's badge? So this is my attorney's badge. No! Present it with more confidence and conviction. Like this. In justice we trust. Okay, how's this? Apollo Justice, attorney at law. Here comes justice. That was amazing. But you know what they say? Practice makes perfect. Let's see you do it 10 more times. Okay, I'll try my best. Apollo, what are you doing? How do you talk me into this? Alright, we got that out of the way. Alright, so we're supposed to go to the Right Anything Agency. April 18th, Right Anything Agency. Maybe I'll go read over some past cases. And I'll go do some research on exorcisms. Hey, what's with you guys? You seem bummed out. how should I put this? It's like we're at the edge of a cliff, and the only way is down. In other words, business as usual, right? Yeah, I suppose so. Except this time it's like we're bound and gagged, too. Don't forget blindfolded with our ears plugged up. Oh, and monsters at every turn, huh? Sounds rough. Hey, Apollo. Oh, and Athena's here, too. Mr. Wright! How goes the investigation, Apollo? Athena? I think it's safe to say that things have gotten hairier than before. Really? What happened? Let's talk to Phoenix, our defense. I was watching the two of you this morning from the gallery. That was one tough day in court, to say the least. I know, I've never had to defend a yokai before. That business about the locked room was another major hurdle. Yeah, and on top of that, Jinxie was accused of being an accomplice. But at least you figured out how someone could have escaped that locked room. Yeah, well, we just found out that our reasoning might be a tad flawed. Oh, really? Well, that's bad news. How are we gonna get out of this one? The worst of times are when lawyers have to force their biggest smiles. Force a smile? Yeah, my mentor taught me that, back when I was still learning the trade. She also taught me to return to the basics whenever I got stuck. Return to the basics? That's right, always believe in your client, no matter what happens. That's a lawyer's greatest and most trusted weapon. The basics. Always believe in your client, huh? Also, I should probably tell you about the time that, there was somebody who was, possessed by an evil spirit on the stand, and I had to exorcise her. That might be relevant to this case, but never mind. So, Mr. Wright, how long have you known Athena? I met her during a trip to Europe. Huh? You were in Europe? Why haven't I heard about this before? Yeah, I went there a few times to study the various legal systems over there. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. I thought you worked as a pianist after you quit practicing law. I did, but an old friend of mine needed help with some legal work from time to time, so... Oh, I guess you were never very far from the courtroom then. I wonder who that old friend was. It was like fate brought us together. It's thanks to Mr. Wright that I became a lawyer after all. I knew she was lawyer material from the moment I met her, and I have high hopes for her ability to analyze people's emotions. Oh, it's nothing special. Maybe I've underestimated that analytical psychology of hers. I thought that if my special ability could help defend innocent people, then I had to do everything in my power to bring it to the courtroom. That's when I really started hitting the books hard. I'm still amazed she actually became a lawyer. And at the tender age of 18, no less. Wow, that's almost superhuman. Or personal, like she's trying to help somebody she knows. Alright, I'm totally pumped up after talking to you, Mr. Wright. It's like you said, the worst of times are when lawyers have to force their biggest smiles. And don't forget to return to the basics whenever you get stuck. Keep believing in my client. Right. Mr. Wright? Yes? I'm gonna go visit our client again. I think that's a good idea. Alright, time to see what's new down at the detention center. April 18th, Detention Center. Visitor's room. Mayor Tenma, we wanted to talk to you about something. Ka! So, my minions have returned. Apollo, he still thinks he's a yokai. I wonder if we'll ever be able to talk to Mayor Tenma again. Silence, peddler of the legal trade! Free me from these imprisoning walls with great haste! Wow, he's sounding more and more like a real demon with every sentence. I'm starting to wonder if we should even be helping him win his freedom. Still, we can't let Mayor Tenma stay possessed, you know what I mean? If you can clear me of these charges, I shall help in whatever manner I may. Now, Ask of me what you will. I suppose it's worth a shot. Alright, let's talk to the demon. Feathers and tracks. Were those feathers and tracks at the scene of the crime really your doing? Indeed! The remnants of Tenmataro, king of the underworld they be. The day when I once again dominate the mortal world is at hand! Caw! 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 The prosecution claims the feathers and tracks were planted by Jinxie. What's this? I must breach these walls and go defend my little Jinxie at once. Huh? Mayor Tenma? Is that you? Well now. Damien appears to still reside within this body, but I should have expected as much from a descendant of mine. Be silent now, Damien. I guess a little thing like demonic possession won't stop a father's love for his daughter. You didn't kill Alderman QB, did you? I have killed no one. The remnants of my presence have been misconstrued. The murderer is not I. For if I had slain that mortal, raging hellfire would have consumed him, leaving naught but ash. Yikes. So you're saying there must have been somebody else there. Come to think of it, the mayor had mentioned that he'd been clubbed with this statue. I better ask about this too. Alright, first, let's talk about what the demon remembers. Detective Fulbright mentioned that you might have something new to tell me. Indeed, I have. I regurgitated this key but a short while ago. Behold, the key to the Forbidden Chamber. Whoa, is regurgitation one of your demonic powers too? Bah! I do not waste my powers on such parlor tricks. Take the key from the killer to Damien, whereupon he swallowed it. He sought to bar the killer entry to the Forbidden Chamber. So he wanted to keep it shut tight? But no fingerprints shall you find upon that key. How do you know that? Oh, wait, is that another one of your demonic powers then? Foolish mortal! You would have me, Tenmataro, act as some asinine alchemist? I but asked the jailer, and my will was done. Quite eagerly, I must add. Caw! 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 Always an honor to serve, your malevolence. Guess I'm not the only one he scares the living daylights out of. Can we ask how you use this key? We couldn't find a keyhole anywhere in or around the door. Curse that infernal door. But if I had known its manner of opening long ago, would I have made my return? He has a point there. Maybe Jinxie knows something about how the whole thing works. The Forbidden Chamber key. The key that the mayor took from the killer and swallowed. No fingerprints could be lifted from it. Alright, yeah, so he did say we should present... Hey, Mr. Demon, what do you think of my badge? I was hoping you'd take a look at this. An offering to me. Quite admirable. But the best thing you could offer me is to win me my freedom. Caw! 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 Right. I'll do my best. Okay. Let's talk to him about the Fox and Demon statue. What, might I ask, is that? This statue was found at the scene. Someone hit Mayor Tenma over the head with it. It had been wrapped in a large cloth before the alderman's murder. Let me see whether Damien knows about such a thing. Yes. Something wrapped in just such a cloth. Does he recall? A secret gift from Alderman QB, it would seem. He, however, had not a chance to see it till now, for the cloth did conceal it. Maybe the cloth fell off or was removed after the mayor was struck. Oh, that Damien does not know. A secret gift. Interesting. Maybe Jinxie knows something about it. I should question him about the blackmail letter, too. Let's see what he says when I show it to him. Alright, the blackmail letter. Why, this is that accursed blackmail letter that was sent to Damien. Apparently, somebody slipped it into the alderman's pocket? We believe someone, probably the killer, stole it from Mayor Tenma's briefcase. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you? Caw! 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 You have questions, do you? Very well. Ask away, mortal. The blackmail letter. Okay. Who placed this in the alderman's pocket? Very few were they who knew the letter was in Damien's briefcase. So, whoever knew about the blackmail letter being in the mayor's briefcase is a potential suspect in its theft and placement in the alderman's pocket. Could it have been his doing? Mr. Taro, did you just remember something? Indeed, I did. There was but one other who knew of that letter. Damien's aide, Florent Lebel. Full knowledge of that briefcase contents did that aide possess. Then he may be the blackmailer and the murderer we're looking for. That is preposterous! He's a most trusted advisor. He would never betray Damien. It seems like Mayor Tenma is a bit too trusting of those around him. Still, this is huge. Now we know who might have slipped that blackmail letter in the alderman's pocket. Look out, Florent Lebel. Here comes justice! Let's go find Mr. Lebel and rake him over the coals. Thanks for the help. You've just given us a major lead. Alright, it's highly likely that it was Lebel who took it from the mayor's briefcase. Nice. There's something that still bothers me. If Mr. Lebel is the killer, what could have motivated him to open the Forbidden Chamber? We should probably search it for clues. Only one problem. How do you open a locked door that doesn't have a keyhole? Let's go talk to Jinxie. Maybe she can help. Alright. Well, thanks, Tenmataro. Let's go see if we can run into Jinxie and Yokai Lane. April 18th, Nine Tails Vale, Yokai Lane. Hey, isn't that... you dare imprison me? Jinxie? She's acting really strange. That loathsome, no-good nine-tailed fox. He shall know the terror that is mine and despair. You shall pay. Oh, you shall pay dearly. All of you. Jinxie, are you alright? Oh, is that you, Mr. Demon Lawyer? Morning, Jinxie. Morning? Isn't it already past noon? What am I doing here? Last I remember, I lay down to take a nap back at the manor. Oh no, it must have been the Makurageishi. Makurageishi? Ever wake after a restless night's sleep to find your pillow in an unusual place? Or that you've been sleeping on the floor or in the hallway? Well, it's that yokai's fault. The Makurageishi preys on people while they're asleep. It sounds like you just need to be tucked in really tight, or maybe a snug sleeping bag. Jinxie, how come you don't have any charms on your forehead? I don't? Oh, they must have fallen off. Without them, evil things can creep into me. I'd say we had a more than adequate demonstration of that just now. I'd better reapply them. Jinxie, there's something Winnie wanted to ask you. Ah, there was something I wanted to tell you, too. I remembered something else. You did? What was it? Alright, what you remember? Jinxie, can you tell us what you remembered? Well, after the trial, I remembered lots of stuff. But there was one thing I thought was really weird. I'm almost afraid to ask, but here it goes. Really? What? It's about the yokai feathers and tracks. They weren't there when I first opened the door. Wait, what? Are you sure? Uh-huh. My memory's crystal clear now. So you're saying they were left at the crime scene after you found it? This could spell major trouble, Apollo. Why? Because Jinxie is already accused of leaving the feathers and tracks at the scene. If they weren't there when she discovered the crime scene, will totally fuel the claim that she fabricated the evidence later on. Ah! Jinxie's fuzzy memory of the whole incident is really working against us. Prosecution will probably say she doesn't remember planting the evidence. Good luck rebutting that. Oh man, this is not good. I sure hope she didn't plant the evidence while she was sleepwalking or something. And the Forbidden Chamber. Jinxie, you wouldn't happen to know how to open the Forbidden Chamber, would you? That door doesn't even have a keyhole. Well, it's supposed to have a secret mechanism. They say you have to figure it out before the keyhole will appear. A secret mechanism? Really? Uh-huh. It's hidden in the Fox Chamber. But only Alderman Cuby knew what it was, and how it worked. The Alderman of Ninetails Vale sure loved his secrets. A miserable pile of secrets, you might say. Apollo, let's go see if we can find that secret mechanism. Whoa, slow down. There's something else I need to ask about. Jinxie, is there only one key to the Forbidden Chamber? Uh-huh. Even the Manor's master key won't open it. That's because it's a very special room that must never be opened. I guess that means nobody entered the Forbidden Chamber after the murder? After all, we know Mayor Tenma took the key from the killer and swallowed it, so the mayor's efforts to keep the killer out of the Forbidden Chamber were not in vain! Okay, that's good. There's only one of its kind. Well, that's nice. Forbidden Chamber key. Is there anything else we should present to her? The badge? So you really are a demon lawyer. So then you must know Enmadayo, the appraiser of souls. What's he like? What's he like? Well, he's bald, has a white beard, and... and what? He shouts guilty and order while banging his gavel. I call him the judge. Oh, wow, he's as scary as I thought. Nah, he's just an old man who's wiser than you might think. The judge, wiser than you might think? I don't know about that one. Alright, so we talked to her. Let's see, can we go to the Fox Chamber again? We can show him the key. Justice needs backup sometimes too. So I don't mind you asking for help. But you should start by thinking things over yourself. After all, the road to justice starts with your own first step. Ha ha ha! If you don't have any information to offer, you could just say so. To be fair, what we think of him is very, very low, so it wouldn't be hard to be wiser than that. Yes. Alright, okay, it won't actually let us explore, so... Can we go to the garden? Got any ideas? So the crime scene was locked tight at the time. Ugh, this is a tough one. The only people in that locked room were the deceased, the alderman, and the mayor. Maybe the killer hid somewhere in that room. But is there really anywhere to hide in the Fox Chamber? The trial. That was quite a day in court. The news just can't stop talking about how the demon Tenmataro made an appearance. There's never an exorcist around when you need one. Well, I heard the judge actually held an exorcism in his courtroom after that. Good. Let's hope it's the last we'll see of that pain-in-the-neck yokai. I don't know. I have a feeling Tenmataro could exorcise an exorcist. As an attorney defending a demon, I know exactly how that feels. How about... is there anything in the foyer? No. Okay. But yeah, I forgot. Isn't there that notes feature that we're supposed to look at? Or is there anything from Jinxie? Show blackmail letter to LaBelle. Show the fox and demon statue to Jinxie. Okay. That's nice. I really like that they'll at least tell you when you're lost. Alright, let's show her the fox and demon statue. Alderman Cuby made that statue. It's a token of goodwill. I think it was meant to be for Ninetails Vale in Tenma Town. A token of goodwill? But the two yokai are fighting. Fighting? Oh, I see what you mean. The cup portion is missing. The statue originally depicted the two yokai holding up a cup in celebration. But it sure doesn't look that way now, does it? Maybe it broke when it was used to hit Mayor Tenma on the head. That would explain it. I guess the only two people who knew what it really looked like were the alderman and I. And that was just me. but its symbol of goodwill will be forever etched in my mind. Ah. Jinxie is now the only one who knows what the original looked like. That's huge. So, is there anything else we should know about Jinxie? No, that's about it. Uh-oh. Ah! My bracelet, it's reacting. Jinxie, you wouldn't happen to be... In justice we trust! A ghost! Oh! Detective Fulbright, what are you doing here? I have business with this young lady, if you must know. Prosecutor Blackwell has asked me to question her. Question me? Sorry, not interested. Are you here to ask about that whole yokai affair? That's right. Specifically, we want to ask... but I can't tell you that. Now can I? Oh, come on, please. We're partners in justice, right? No. Prosecutor Blackwell specifically told me my questions were of the utmost justice. I will not fall for your lies. In justice we trust. The Twisted Samurai sure has him on a short leash. So you're not a ghost? Maybe some sort of urban troll, then? Oh, he's a troll, all right. Now come along, Miss Tenma. To the station with ya. You took her away. Missed my chance to see what she was lying about. Well, at least we found out there's a secret mechanism for opening the chamber. Let's go check it out. I just hope they let us in now. Well, twice now, then. We've had Apollo's power teased and then taken away. April 18th, QB Manor Garden. Oh, what an absolutely fabulous scent. I'm so glad I had these carnations imported from England. Nothing but the finest will do. Perhaps I should place one aside for our dearly departed alderman. Hey, it's Mr. LaBelle. Apollo, let's ask him about you-know-what. Oh yeah, before we search the Fox Chamber, we should ask about the blackmail letter. Why, if it isn't the mayor's little lawyers, what do you want with me? Oh, there's something we wanted to ask. Where's that Ricky coming from? You'll have to excuse me. Hello, LaBelle here. What the? Those things on his shoulders are cell phones? Yes, about that. You must forgive me. This whole matter with Mayor Tenma has been a complete nightmare. And where do you buy clothes like that? Surprised? This is my own special design. It's the ultimate in functional beauty. Functional beauty? Are you sure about that? Looks a bit unwieldy to me. Ah! You simply don't have an eye for beauty. If having an eye for beauty means looking like this guy, I'd rather be blind. So, what do you want with me? Let's talk. Did you see Tenmataro? Well, Jinxie and Mr. Phillips said they saw Tenmataro. What about you, Mr. LaBelle? If you were in the foyer, why didn't you... Ah! Ah! Very well. I admit it. That's right. I, Florent LaBelle, saw the demon Tenmataro. So he did see something. Then why did you lie about not seeing him? I was simply trying to protect dear little Jinxie. Protect Jinxie? What do you mean? Why, don't tell me you haven't heard of that strange little habit of hers. Which one are we talking about? The one where she wanders around making mischief without knowing what she's doing. Rumor has it she's possessed by Tenmataro. That one's new to me. Well, there you have it. Anytime you hear about a Tenmataro sighting, little Jinxie should be your prime suspect. Tell us more about that rumor. Yeah, rumor about Jinxie. So what was that rumor about Jinxie? Well, they say she's possessed. Not all the time, of course. It hits suddenly, then she starts wandering around doing strange things. Is that so? Although, come to think of it, you know, that loathsome, no good nine-tailed fox. He shall know the terror that is mine in despair. That certainly would explain how she was acting earlier. Once, she even put on a Tenma Taro costume and wandered around the woods at night. She did? That's pretty, metal. Ugh, I wish I'd never asked. Does she remember anything while she's possessed? Unfortunately, no. She doesn't seem to remember a thing during these episodes. Memory loss during possession. Come to think of it, her memory of the murder scene was quite fuzzy. I suppose that, too, was caused by her possession. Ah, then maybe... So you do understand the whole yokai business was entirely of her own making. No, wait a minute. Although that yokai evidence wasn't there until after she discovered the crime scene. Did she leave those black feathers and strange tracks there herself? Apollo, let's ask Mayor Tenma about Jinxi's episodes the next time we talk with him. Alright, well first, let's present the blackmail letter. What is that? It's the blackmail letter, but it wasn't sent to Alderman Kyubi. It was sent to Mayor Tenma. And? Your point being? Someone took the letter from the mayor's briefcase and then placed it in the alderman's pocket after he was murdered. Oh, you don't say. You wouldn't happen to be the one who made the switch, would you? After all, you're the only one who knew that the blackmail letter was in his briefcase. So naturally, ow! Perhaps that shot of cologne will make those scales fall from your eyes. Or my eyes fall from their sockets. Is it possible that you would like to frame me as a potential suspect? What would make you raise such an outrageous allegation in the first place? Well... My only crime is being born as beautiful as you see here. In other words, you have nothing. Now, let me show you what to do with this garbage. You can't destroy evidence like that. What do you mean I can't? I just did. Feel a little lighter now? You've just won a one-way trip to the top of my most annoying people ever list, buddy. Are we done with your silly questions now? I'm a very busy man, you know. I guess that's it for now. Hello, LaBelle speaking. Really? You wish to carry my new product at your store? Oh, but I'm afraid it's my own private brand. It's not available to the public. What? Then I shouldn't advertise it on TV? But I don't understand. As the embodiment of beauty, it is my duty to announce my good looks to the world. Stop the bus, I'm getting off. Everyone wants my exclusive Je suis LaBelle brand products. It's the crown jewel of my collection, born of long, relentless pursuit of beauty. But now that it's become so popular, it's been an absolute nightmare. You don't say. Well, they can't have it. It's just for me. It's not meant for you peasants. Peasants? This is my latest product. I'm calling it Color Me LaBelle. A dazzling hair color that you can wash out with just water. I guess that means you can't sweat. I have 7 colors in all. You can find out more in my commercials and magazine ads. Yet it's not available to the public? Great sales strategy there, genius. Come to think of it, Mr. LaBelle, your hair color's changed since the last time we met. The little lady has quite the discerning eye. Here's a little sample. Consider it a gift for one who truly appreciates beauty. Oh, Apollo, what should I do? Better take it before you get a face full of cologne. Good point. Wow, thanks, Mr. LaBelle. Color Me LaBelle added to the court record. Okay. Okay, let's head over to the Fox Chamber. We've still got to find the secret mechanism for opening the Forbidden Chamber. Alright. April 18th, QB Manor, Fox Chamber. Okay, let's find that secret mechanism for opening the Forbidden Chamber. Oh, this is so exciting. I can't wait to see how it works. But do you really think the killer entered the Forbidden Chamber? We'll just have to open it to find out. We should also see if there was anywhere the killer could have hid in this room. Okay, let's get started. Apprete, Apollo! Alright, what do we... Well, we got the folding screen. Two foxes standing back to back are depicted on this elegant folding screen. Could this have something to do with the keyhole? Wait a minute. Two foxes. There are two fox statues in front of the Forbidden Chamber as well. Maybe the keyhole will appear if we do something to this folding screen. But I don't see anything unusual about it. Well, it does have two foxes on it, and there were two fox statues in front of the door. Well, then maybe there's a clue somewhere in this room. Let's turn the whole place upside down. He's excited as a kid in a candy store. Okay. Well, we got these two fox statues here, and they have knives in their mouths. There's a carving of the nine-tailed fox over the door, and statues of them on either side. The way those two statues are glaring, it's like they're guarding the door from us. Come to think of it, there are two foxes on the folding screen as well. It can't be a coincidence, can it? Hey, this statue moves! Don't get carried away now. I mean, who knows? It might trigger a trap. Hey, I can handle it. If a spear comes shooting my way, I'll snatch it out of the air. After all, I have the reflexes of a regular karate kid. I guess if you can catch something that fast out of midair, you can accomplish anything. Still, there might be something to the fact that these fox statues rotate. Maybe there's something around here that shows the position they should be in. There might just be. Let's see. I'm glad that it's actually, like, not telling us stuff we've looked at before. Because the previous games didn't do that, and that was kind of annoying. Let's see. What we got here? Still no keyhole, huh? Yeah, and the door won't budge, just like those spiky bangs of yours. Well, all it takes is some water, but I don't think that would work on the door. Oh, I know. I'll break it down with a body slam. I seriously doubt you could do that. How do you know if I haven't even tried? No, wait, don't! As much as you hate losing, Athena, I think the door would win this match. Let's look at the blood again. Maybe the killer hid under this table. That would be a terrible hiding place. The alderman's body would have been right above. Maybe you're right. Guess the underside is a bit... Wait, there's something under the table. Let's check it out. Ooh, what's this? Hey, look, there's something down here. It looks like a piece of something. Only question is, a piece of what? Oh, I know. It might be a piece of this statue. Remember what Jinxie said? Right. The statue originally depicted two yokai holding up a cup. It was a symbol of goodwill. So this piece broke off and rolled under the table. Yep, Fox and Demon statue. Yep. Cool. We got the bowl part. Well, I can't think of anywhere else to look. You find anything, Apollo? We'll never find the keyhole to the Forbidden Chamber at this rate. There's something about that folding screen. You know how those fox statues in front of the Forbidden Chamber move? That screen might be a clue as to how we're supposed to position them or something. Hey, I bet you're right. Let's go over that screen with a fine-tooth comb. Okay? On closer inspection, I think there's more to this screen than meets the eye. Let's check every last inch of it. I can rotate the folding screen with the arrow keys, and if I spot anything of interest, I can press space on it to investigate further. I can also zoom in and out with B and M to get a better look. Let's check every last inch. Okay. Well, that's kind of obvious. What's that? It's a picture of a key. Huh. The shape looks awfully familiar. Oh, I know. It's shaped like the Forbidden Chamber's key. Ah, we're definitely getting warmer. Okay, let's take an even closer look. And there's keyholes. What's this? Looks like a keyhole or something. You think it could be the keyhole to the Forbidden Chamber? Wait, what about that key drawn on the end of the screen? You think the two are related? A key and a keyhole? Oh, I just got an idea. If we folded the screen up just right, the key and keyhole should overlap. Hey, I think you're right. Let's give it a try. All right, here we go. Ah, look, a door. Yeah, and it's open too. The two foxes are now facing each other. So, hey, what if we made those fox statues face each other? Apollo, let's go check out the two statues. Okay, help me move the two statues so they face each other, just like on the screen. Look! A lock appeared. Now we can use that key. Okay, here goes nothing. It worked! Time to see why this chamber is so forbidden. What secrets could it hold, I wonder? April 18th, QB Manor. Forbidden Chamber. These doors need some serious oil. Ah, that was like nails on a chalkboard. Oh, right. Forgot about those super good ears of yours. Look, more feathers. Ah! What the heck is that? Is that a Tenmataro statue? But there's something odd about it. Ugh, all I know is I don't like it, but I can't explain why. You okay, Athena? You look kind of pale. You're not scared, are you? What? Of this thing? Don't make me laugh! Really? Hey, look. What? What is it? Over there on the left. There's a bunch of staves on the rack. Yeah, and that Tenmataro is holding a staff. They kind of look like the staff we saw earlier. You mean the one Jinxie said she saw a Tenmataro carrying? Yeah, I bet our Tenmataro impersonator really did come here. At some point. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's search the place! Alright. It's very creepy now. Yep, we're gonna end up with the Gauntlet of Ogres by the end of this. What's this? Whatever it is, the packaging is really gaudy. And the fact that there's no dust on it means it hasn't been here very long. Oh, it's hand cream. Let's see what brand it is. Je suis LaBelle? LaBelle? What the? But then, wouldn't that mean Mr. LaBelle was here? I guess so, but why? Well, whoever was dressed up like Tenmataro must have taken a staff from here in the Forbidden Chamber. And that same person probably dropped this hand cream at that time. In other words, the Tenmataro impersonator we're looking for is none other than Florent LaBelle. This might be a big break for us in court tomorrow. Now all I have to do is get the truth out of Mayor Tenma. Hand cream added to the court record. Nice. Let's see what else we got here. What is this? Looks like an old scroll, and there's something drawn on it. Unless I'm mistaken, it looks like an old guy. Some sort of monk, maybe? Monk? What are you talking about? You know, people that take walks in the mountains as a form of spiritual training? Wouldn't that just be a hiker? The guy in this picture doesn't look like he's doing this for fun, Athena. Huh. Oh, look, there's some yellow thing strapped to his back. What, a giant rock of gold? Looks like gold to me. Whoa. It's turning into Tenmataro. What's this scroll getting at? Is this how Tenmataro was born? Well, whatever it is, there's definitely creepy. Looks like a gravestone or something. It reads, "Here lies Tenmataro, age 80. Cause of death, choked on a chicken bone." Ugh, say it ain't so! Besides, that sounds more like an autopsy report than an epitaph, if you ask me. Wait, you're joking around because you're scared. It's your coping mechanism. I'm not scared. Freaked out central, right here, baby. Cut it out, widget. Denial is strong in this one. Here to have Tenmataro been in prison. At least he didn't choke on a chicken bone. That'd be rough. Oh look, there is an air vent here too. I guess even forbidden chambers need proper ventilation. Huh, but I don't think anyone could reach this one either. Yeah, and there's nothing to stand on around here. I wonder where this vent leads. Well, the Fox Chambers vent didn't branch this way, so maybe it doesn't have anything to do with this case after all. That's possible. Hey, there's a bunch of staves here, and it looks like one's missing. The Tenmataro Jinxie saw must have taken it. I'd have to agree, those look like the one Detective Fulbright showed us. Why do you think there are so many here? Maybe they're spares. Tenmataro might be, absent-minded or something. But the fact that he has spare staves handy, well, shows that he's aware of his faults and is trying to deal with them. Or at least that's my take on it. Maybe this is a reminder to deal with her own faults. But I won't hold my breath. Alright, so we got the cream, we got some feathers. Apollo, I think you're just wasting your time there. Okay. Here, highlight the feathers then. Black feathers. They look exactly like the ones in the Fox Chamber. That means the killer must have been in here at some point. Question is, why? Maybe the Tenmataro costume was hidden in here. I mean, if someone carried it through the manor, it would have stuck out like a sore thumb. But when did the killer get in here? The mayor snatched the Forbidden Chamber key when the killer hit him on the head. That means the killer could have only gotten in here before the murder. Wow. This is one tough riddle, all right. Interesting. And what's this? Whoa, that's one big statue. It must be something like 15 feet tall. And look, this Tenmataro has a staff. But the Tenmataro in the scroll didn't have one. I wonder why. I feel like this could be significant. But why? Let's take a closer look. First, to go around this table here. Apollo, are you sure that's a good idea? Hey, looks like there's some sort of compartment in the base of the statue. Don't open it. Who knows what might be in there? It's just a big empty compartment. And from all the dust and cobwebs, I'd say it hasn't been opened in a really long time. That's enough, Apollo. Let's shut it and... Wait, there is something in here. Looks like some sort of figure, but it's so dusty I can't tell what it's supposed to be. Wonder what it's doing here. Forbidden Chamber figure added to the court record. A figure that had been left inside the Tenmataro statue. Okay. Guess that about wraps it up. What now? We should probably talk to some of the witnesses again. You mean like Mr. Filch and Jinxie? Yeah, I really want to ask Mr. Filch about the village superstitions in Tenmataro. I think I am actually going to call it since we're a little bit past 11 at this point. So I'm going to save, and then we will continue the investigation next time as we're in the Chamber Secrets, not the Chamber of Secrets, because that's the wizard side of things. All right, we will see you next week. Bye.